Welcome to Troy Models live show, to the Phil and Sid live show. You know the drill. Give us a couple of minutes just to make sure we are streaming live, and we'll just be right back to you. Quick, Sid, see if it's streaming. Hold on. Come on, because they get. This is the thing. They have the lag.
What have we got? Let's think about it.
It's all thinking. Right.
See if I get there before you do.
Yeah, probably, because obviously mine's up to the complete Swanee today. Yeah, that means it is doing normally. Okay, so in theory, we should. Yes, we're there.
Yay!
Yay, we're live. Right, and we'll just be right back. Yes, right, okay. Let me get rid of that, otherwise we'll be staring at ourselves.
Yeah, you don't do that.
You have the com. Okay. Right, number 2. As I say, I can't do the forum, so you're going to have to, because for some reason it won't log through.
Okay.
I don't know why. I can do it if I press stop, but for some reason it's not doing. Never mind. I think we're all good to go.
Was that this? Lovely, gently.
Yes,
Well, I'll play with that later.
You can have a go with that. Right, okie dokie. So, just go in the wireframes. Primary stream connection frame rate, video is 30, current frame rate is incorrect. Right, okay, well, we can't do much about that, I'm afraid. Right, okay, hopefully we're all good. And you can all see us. It looks like there's a slight problem down there, but I'm hoping we're all okay. It's saying it's got a bad stream, but I don't know exactly what that means. But we'll just wing it. If it is really bad, everyone just say in the forum, and we'll try and fix that straight away. I can't see why. Frame rate is hold on. I might be able to actually fix that. Advanced settings. Whose phone is that? Okay. Mirrored, normal, balance settings, save. Right, okay, how that worked, looks gone good. Right, okay. Sorry about that, everybody. Back with you again for another Tuesday night. It's myself, Phil Flory, with...
And Sid.
With Sid.
Welcome.
As I say, we're sort of in amongst everything at the moment.
Yep, I'm just loading up the page.
We're just loading up the page and everything, and we'll be right with you. See, it was worth us starting 2 minutes early.
It was.
So whilst you sort yourself out, I want a drink. So I need one now after this. Right, okie dokie. Okay, guys, you know the drill. Literally, all your questions, post them up in the forum. And my glamorous assistant, Sid, will make his way through them.
Indeed.
And then we'll answer as many as we can throughout the evening, or any other gossip you want to talk about and anything else.
Lovely.
So go on then, what have you been doing this week?
What have I been doing? I have been doing the Tamiya M113 Desert version to go with my Humvee and the truck that I've been trying to build live, which hasn't really happened.
No, that's the trouble with it. It's nothing's happening very much.
But I did. I forgot to bring with me. I did order some decals.
Yes.
On eBay for it because the ones that I've got went yellow.
All right.
Somebody kind enough from the site sent me a copy or some decals as well, the same ones, but they look like they've gone slightly yellow as well. So
what we're saying is Tamiya decals over time go yellow.
Yeah. And the first ones that I had with the kit have gone moldy as well. So.
All right. And you're storing them where? Bright sunlight, which is mouldy.
So I'm assuming they were kept in somewhere damp from when I got before I got the kit. But I found ones with Snoopy the dog character on it.
All right.
And a couple of others just to liven them up a bit because it's for the Vietnam era that I'm doing them for. Some of the others. So I've got 4 on the go at the moment. I've got 2 up and ready for. It's all been glossed, ready for the decals. I've got 1 that I'm building. For the photo etch on the external side of things.
Yeah.
Adding sort of wire and lead wire and all sorts inside to try and liven it up. Which is the first time I've tried detailing something, so it's a bit of a new for me. And as I said, me desert one which the decals have gone on, but they don't look good. So I thought I'd try your trick.
Well, you try and rub them out.
Try and rub them out. See what happens.
Whilst we have this conversation, these are, I do believe, the Hobby Boss ones, because one of our kind members sent me the decals which are on this, because obviously this is just the German version.
Right.
And the thing is, they are so thick, you can't do that technique with.
Oh, right.
Did try it, because to be honest, I didn't really have any silver in it. I just wanted to do it because it works quite well. Yeah. But these, obviously the Hobby Boss ones tend to be pretty good anyway, but they're always a little bit thick. So anyway, I dutifully got the enamel thinners out, was rubbing away like a good, and nothing happened at all.
Okay.
Nothing whatsoever. So actually, it wasn't actually worth doing it. So what I've done is, forget these because these are just hanging in there. As you can probably see, they've gone on quite well. Admittedly, it's had a flat coat. I've used a polyurethane flat on that to do the jobby on that to flatten them in, because the thing is, they're so thick, there's actually a noticeable step. Yeah, so to get rid of that, because this stuff, as you know, is really, really thick, I sprayed it neat onto it, very close, and flooded it on. And now I think they've gone on quite well. They've conformed in and everything else. There's no sort of, carrier film showing heavily and all the rest of it on there. It's only had one coat so far. It might need another coat, but I'll probably wait until the rest of the weathering's done. But yeah, that technique works absolutely stunning on the hind up there. But come to this one, because they are literally, you can see them on here, they're very, very thick. It just wouldn't bite. I couldn't get it to actually react. And you daren't try it with anything else, otherwise you're going to wreck it.
I'm just wondering, because obviously I've done it in the desert colour, whether that's part of the reason why they stand out a bit more.
Yeah.
So, but hey ho, we'll give it a go, and if it doesn't work, then I'll just have to keep on with the Microsoft Solvent set.
Yeah, I think
it's had 2 coats of the red one so far.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let that dry out and then try it with the.
I think I'm going to have a go with some other manufacturers. So there you go. If you've got a recommendation for other micro set and soles type things, i.e. your softeners and your setters for decals, shout them up in the links below, and I'll give them a whirl. Because the thing is, I find this stuff works brilliantly 90% of the time, but then that last 10%, it just won't touch. And obviously, I do know of other manufacturers out there, and some of them tend to be quite hot, as I call it, that really melt them in very well. But then I'm a bit dubious. And I thought that technique was going to be my latest be-all and end-all. And immediately, my next model, I've come along, done it to this one, and it didn't work. Just not at all.
Absolutely, you can hardly tell that they're actually you've even got any.
I tell you what's really nice with them as well is that the carrier film is extremely tight. There's not a giant sheet of carrier film with it all. But yeah, so I was happier they conformed in. You can see obviously all the riveting detail.
Very clear.
But certainly from my point of view, I was just thought, that's it. Well, here we go again. And I'm 20 minutes later, nothing happened, And I'm starting to get, I don't know if I've still got them here. No, it wasn't that one, but I was using cotton buds as well just to get it to go, and I'm noticing that I'm getting paint now, starting to eat through. And although I wasn't gone right the way through, considering I've been rubbing it a while, it was definitely a bit of a slow day with that. So at that point, it's a case of right, I'm backing off now. We'll try something else and go through it like that. So
it's coming on very nice.
Yeah, so it'll be hopefully put together tomorrow. So we're all pretty good there. I must admit, she's quite a long time in the working, but it's a camera. She is actually coming together very, very nicely.
Still rattles.
Still rattles. I am going to do it. To be honest, I was going to do it today. My plan is I'll do it properly. I'll do it live on cam, so don't panic. But I'm going to come in by the well.
Right.
I'm going to drill a hole, fill it with PVA glue, leave it overnight standing up, and then I'll fill. Probably I'll put a shimmer plastic card in, actually, paint plastic card. And jobs are good, and we're all set to go then.
Fingers crossed.
Well, yeah, fingers crossed. No, it'll be fine. Best plan. Well, I was going to do it with super glue, and then I had visions of like unmasking it, and it's like a frosted effect. And you're like, oh no, I have to cut it up and buy a new canopy for it. So it wouldn't be the first time that's happened. Funny enough, I had one of you members message me and said about some of my old video builds, the real cringeable ones in the dodgy jumpers and shirts, and he wanted to have the one which I know by we had the roofers in at the new roof, because he wanted the F18 F Hornet build, and that's 2007. That was re-edited 2008 because I had to take a load of the music out, and yeah, so he wanted that one, and it's like, cool, there's a blast from the past. never mind. One of those things. But certainly, if you do want to see the old ones, I don't advertise them wildly because they are pretty cringeable. And don't forget, I am using an old digital camera, not a camcorder, it's a digital camera on my mount, so I can't even see what I'm seeing. So that's why most of it, I'm like, and here you are, the camera's focusing here, and I'm over here. The good old days. But certainly, you know, if you do want to see the old ones, we still have them. It's just they're quite cringeable, so that's why I move them.
The wonders of technology.
The wonders of technology. And then next week we should be all perfect. The LED lights haven't turned up yet.
Oh, they're not?
No. And I know the electrician's going to phone tomorrow because he's due Thursday,
Friday.
Friday.
So it was Thursday, didn't you? So,
and they're not here yet. So if they don't turn up tomorrow, I'm going to have to tell him not to bother. Can we put it back a week? So.
Well, I've ordered nozzle and needle for my Awata to see whether that's the issue with me other airbrush. So hopefully that'll be here tomorrow. That was from airbrush.com.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the only place I could find them. I'm sure there's other places that do them, but that's the only place I could find them.
Yeah, because the iWater people, isn't it, will be what they call the airbrush company, isn't it? Paul and Dorset.
Right.
They carry everything for iWaters.
But yeah, so hopefully they'll be here tomorrow, along with me decals shortly after, hopefully. To be nice, that means I can crack on and do some decaling then. It'd be nice to get them finished off, because I took my partner in and showed him my room, and there's all 4 of them lined up in a row. Plus I've got the Jeep as well, from the Vietnam era as well, which has got the decals on already. Yeah. But I've not done any weathering, so it's just purely glossed decals and that's it. So I've not even painted in like the spades or anything like that, or any details. So it's just plain olive drab at the moment. So yeah, so it'd be nice just to get in and crack on and get some of them finished, so I can start showing them out and displaying them.
Bless your extensive collection, you see.
Yes, yeah, it seems to be more armour. I've gone through my collection recently, and it's all the ones that I don't really want to show now seem to be sort of like early on. Yes. And I've come up with the MiG, which I've done for obviously the group build. I've done a Lynx helicopter for the Airfix kit. A couple of other small planes which were okay, so I thought, yeah, I'm quite happy to display them, but everything else is just either vehicles or armour.
Turn to the dark side.
So I'll have to get some of me. Actually, I've got an F-15 actually on the go. I'll get my airbrush out and start doing the pre-shading and put the grey colour onto it. Another plane.
Very nice. Very good.
Have a go at your motley.
Yeah, your motley technique. You're rubbing with airbrush cleaner. Loads of people mention that. Yeah, just give it a rub. Apparently, you can do a very similar effect, I've been told, with enamel thinners as well, to give a streaky effect over acrylic. Haven't tried it, but might be something to have a go. I might have a go on that with it. Because the thing is, with enamels, it doesn't affect acrylic. Okay. Yeah, they don't react with each other. Don't forget, cellulose will melt on contact. I thought it'd be the other way around. Yeah, enamels doesn't touch acrylic. So that's the thing. So it's a case of righto. Get in there, give it a scrub, see if you can get that streaky look, because it does eat in eventually, but it takes a hell of a lot of scrubbing to go with it. So yes, that's the thing with that one. Do you showed us some good? What? Put cellulose thinners on it. No, get the action going. The action going. Yeah, but I can't do it left-handed, you see. Go on then, let's start some questions. So we've got Jason, who's put, good evening, Phil and Sid. What a great show, keep it up. Thank you very much. Were you guys still thinking of producing the World War II jackets with the 4E logo on the back? If that's a yes, I will buy one for sure. Another question, what paintbrushes do you use? And that's from Jason. Okay, right, Jason. The jackets are not cheap. I warn everybody now. I've spoken to 2 companies so far who do this type of thing. Both of them are no problem at all. One of them is quoting around about 800 quid. That's how expensive it is. And the trouble we have is that the logo, as you know, we not got one or her behind or whatever. The new one, because it's not solid colours, obviously it's faded. The way that they do it is multiple layers and all the rest of it, and then they blend it. The other company actually paints them on by hand. That's what they do. Okay. That's why they're 800 quid each. But they will do the picture and they will paint them on using special paints, and they guarantee it and all the rest of it. And also the jackets are made to size. So you give them all your measurements, and they will make the jacket for your size. So it's tailored for you, but they are about 800 quid, so it is not cheap at all. So quite frankly, I am looking for cheaper options.
Yes, please.
So yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, yeah, t-shirts available from Vistaprint. But yeah, I am looking for it. We're also, I have had a word with a couple of companies to turn it into a very large patch and do it like that. The trouble is none of them do it that sort of size, 25 centimetre across to be a back piece on a jacket. So I am obviously trying to sort something out along those lines. We'll probably sort out to be a patch, as we know, and everything else. So, so that's the thing with that one.
And the end of the bit of that is,
brushes.
what brushes do you use?
To be honest, I don't use quality brushes, shall we say. I have in my collection, I think you'll find.
I go to a pound shop and buy all cheap ones.
Yeah, that's it. I have a Humbrol set, which actually lasted me very well. And I've probably got some more somewhere. I got the Humbrol set, which actually weren't, as I say, too bad at all. I also bought, here we are. This is the Master Tools set, which is Trumpeters Tools division. They did a set of flats and a set of rounds. I'm using them. And so far, they're standing up very well.
Good.
But I must admit, I'm not one of these people who buys really expensive brushes because I am very bad and I leave them and they go solid and
I always find that the tips of them never stay the same for me.
No. Well, that's when you should be getting your wax and your, all that. You can, you know, you get the guys who like, you know, this is like a 300 quid brush and they're like, you know, waxing.
I'll give it a clean.
Like a thing. And
I'll dry it off and and that's me done. Back in my little
beeswax. Put it on, off to a point, little holder over it, and they're left for the next time. Me, I forget them and they're rock hard, and I have to put them in cellulose to get them out. And there's the bit where you're trying to do it, and it just comes off in one lump, and it's like, oh, right, okay.
That's due for the diet.
Yeah, the grass.
Yeah,
that's it. That's what happens with me.
How do you make your grass? With my own brushes.
Yeah, it's all my old brushes, of which I've got hundreds.
Peter, what is the meaning of life, the universe, and everything else?
Yeah, that's easy. I did that at school. It's to survive. That's why everyone's here.
I've just looked at my PayPal account and I've renewed my Flowy membership. Excellent stuff. Keep me out of mischief, kind of.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Peter.
Whilst we do it, because obviously a lot of you watch this not live, but afterwards, loads of you panic when your membership cancels. What it is, your credit card or your debit card, or whatever you have on file with PayPal, when it expires, it cancels your account. It's a safety measure to stop you being billed forevermore. Because otherwise, if it just took it and you weren't coming on the site and everything, it'd just take your money forever. Yeah. You know, and all the rest of it. So what it does, every time your card changes, it cancels your account. But fear not, you will get sent an email. So check your spam folders, because I think that's where it goes. That comes from an automated email that just simply says, you've cancelled your subscription. You know, we don't know if you want to or not. If you do want to stay, follow this link, redo it again, and it will automatically update all your membership information. So it will tell the forum you're a member, and it will tell the site you're a member, and it does it all automatically. You don't have to worry about it at all.
Awesome.
So don't panic, because I get people saying, please don't cancel me. I won't, it won't. And also it does give you, actually by the time PayPal cancels your account, it sends you 3 emails to say you've been cancelled. Then our system sends you one as well, and that is 10 days. So you've almost got 2 weeks. So you're not going to lose anything. So don't panic.
Rob Kingston.
Evening, Rob.
Evening, lads. Been looking forward to tonight's show. No modelling, no, just a few beers. Also looking forward to meeting up with the Huddersfield lads on Sunday. Flowy Yorkshire meet.
Cool.
Should be fun.
Have you got your whippet and your flat cap? We had them here, so we had to, you know, obviously hide the silver.
We did,
and all the rest of it. Move all the valuables out of the way, anything that was breakable whilst they stayed here.
And it got that bad. Even the tent that was staying in was empty.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Jason, I second that to Peter. The meaning of life. It's ready. Ho, Wayne. Looking forward to it. Phil and Sid. The new Batman and Robin. Really enjoyed last week's show. Great stuff. I have a question for you. What do you use to prime brass-tuned gun barrels?
I don't do them, if I'm honest. But then I suppose you could talk photo etch because it's the same.
I could say, wouldn't it be the same as photo etch? Because
yeah,
to be honest, I would just spray it with my normal primer.
Absolutely. I actually had a somebody sent me I think it was a PM through the site or just the other way in, and somebody asked me about priming over photo etch because he's tried to use the whatever it is one. Oh God, what's it called? Here we go. The polyurethane.
Oh, right, yeah.
And obviously it hates shiny things.
Okay, so it stands off.
Yeah, so basically I said, right, okay, well, what you want to do really is use, I would use Tamiya, acrylic, something like that. Just prime straight onto it and then go over it with whatever you want to go over it with. So it's not so much.
There you go, you can have my heart.
Oh, thank you. I'll bite that.
I'll have your egg.
Hold on, that's the adult version. I'm going down that road. Right, yeah, so I would use Tamiya, certainly acrylics. If you wanted to, you can also do surface primers, which are basically lacquer-based, cellulose-based. That'll cover it.
Okie dokie. Ron. Hi, Ron.
Leading Ron.
If you, sorry, it's because I've got to sweep me now. If you do the next Geek Meet as a live broadcast, I'm worried that Adam might get a bit camera shy. You know what it's like.
True.
Got a question for you about Valero paints, not Model Air. Was using some of them the other night and was getting a couple of seconds of paint, then a few seconds of just air. I had to pull back on the trigger harder than normal. Some more paint would blast out, eased off, then nothing again. It was either flooding out or flooding out too fast or not at all. Do you reckon I didn't thin enough?
Yes. Simple thing is, I don't know how well the camera will pick this up. I have a bottle of Model Colour, as it's commonly known, and Model Air. Model Air, as we know, is pre-thinned, ready to shoot, and literally drips out like that. And you could put it straight in your airbrush and spray it.
And that's the difference you're saying between the white lids and the black lids.
Yeah, this is Model Colour, which, don't get me wrong, they do every colour you can ever think of, and they do some great things.
And that's just a Valero paint, yeah?
Yeah, and here's the difference. See? That's the difference.
I was expecting that.
Nor was I, just cover me wig. Yeah, it's quick. Oh, it's live. For all you doubters, you just covered the tornado. So there you go. That's the difference between Model Air. Oh, I'm covered in it now. That was the problem you were having with your airbrush. It was having trouble getting it out. So then when you push too hard, it spits. You like that?
And if anybody was drinking at the time, they just spat all over their computer and you apologise.
Or over your model. So yeah, so that's hey, interaction is best. Anyway, on that note,
next one.
Next. That's your problem. Literally, Model Air is very thick, and it needs a lot of oomph to get it out. Thinning it is a little bit of a minefield because certain colours thin better than others, I found with Model Colour. And if I'm honest with you, that's why I don't use them now. Bloody things, they spit everywhere. So yes, that is your problem. It's a thicker pigment, it's a thicker paint, it needs diluting or thinning, and it needs to basically be, you know, babysat really to be sprayed. Whereas Model A, you just chuck it in your thing and away you go. Or over your bench. I'll just do some cleaning, carry on.
Okie-dokie.
I'll just mop this mess up.
Simon Webb.
Mr. Webb.
Quote 9. Very good evening to you, fine, handsome gentlemen.
He's such a creep. He's a creep.
From up here in North Wales, where men are men and the
sheep are nervous.
Yeah. Somebody should design the theme tune and the opening sequence for the show. Phil could walk in to the room, smile and point at the camera. Then his name appears underneath, like on Happy Days. Then Sid comes in.
We have to freeze as well.
Then Sid comes in, wearing shades, looking cool. He obviously doesn't know me that well.
Yeah, so I'm Howard, and you must be the Fonz in that case.
And then stands next to him. The Phil and Sid show title then flashes onto the screen, Superman style. Go on, Phil. You know you can do it.
Oh God! Honestly, don't make me.
My question tonight is: where is the best place to buy photo reference books, and who published the best ones?
Yeah, that's really hard because I don't know who will be able to do the titles. If anybody does want to do things like that, help yourselves. You know, this is what it's all about. It's supposed to be a bit of fun and all the rest of it. We certainly don't take ourselves seriously doing this.
Oh, definitely not.
So if you do want to do his titles, anyway, the question.
Yes.
To be honest, eBay is your friend, and so is Google with Amazon and things like that. Obviously, there is stores out there which do carry various books. From my point of view, when I'm doing a particular model, if I know nothing about it, I'll tend to get a reference book on it. If I know a bit about it, I'll probably just use Google image search, and there's various sites and walk around things and everything else on there. And I'll do something else like that. Actual places to get it, obviously there's lots of different stores out there who carry it and all the rest of it. Unfortunately, books can be one of those things, either very cheap or stupidly expensive. You know, we've done some books recently. I've got some more down there to do, which will be on Friday's show.
I think we had a similar question before as well.
Yeah, that's it. And it's just one of those sort of minefield situations. Also, you know, if you're only going to use a book for doing a model and not again, it might be worth chirping up and seeing if somebody's got one in the forum in the site who might be able to lend you it for references, or various Google searches and things like that. So reference material, it depends on how much you want to learn about something. If you want to know the complete history of the 190, that book I've reviewed, I've got the other one down there for the other version of it to do, then obviously that is probably going to be some great nighttime reading. If you're just a casual modeler and want references, then obviously the internet.
Definitely,
Yes.
And he says at the end, thanks for a jolly good laugh and all the oodles of modelling, Jen. By the way, I watched the Hind build from start to finish this weekend. One of the best builds I have ever seen. Please bring it to Telford this year.
It will be at Telford, yeah. My plan to take to Telford this year will obviously be the Intruder, the Star Destroyer, will be the Hind, and maybe something else if I get it built in time.
You should.
And I might take the ship, although that's a bit dodgy to move, if I'm honest. The photo etch, it's just willing itself to throw itself off. It's like kamikaze.
That's a shame, because
you've only got to look at it and it's like, ting.
That's a shame, that'd be a nice one to take.
Yeah, I'll see how much we've got in the car. But no, I don't know. It's a living nightmare, that thing. It's just the photo etch is just trying to get off of it all the time.
You put me off building it now.
Yeah. Piece of cake, that photo etch, it falls on. It's like
falls on or falls off.
Yeah, it falls on. It pings off more like. I've done the front ramp one about 9 times.
Sean, looking forward to watching this when I get home from work tonight. Only question I have is, what gloss would you recommend to use for brushing? I recently used Umbro Clear, but that didn't work the way I had hoped. Clouded up everywhere. Also, is there any members from South Wales so we can all do a members meet or something similar?
Yes, great. Get together, guys. Obviously, post up in here if you are from Wales or anything.
On the announcement bit, perhaps.
On the announcement bit as well, if you want to, check yourself in there. And obviously, if you want to do a members meet, if there's enough of you around, help yourself.
Definitely.
Great. No problem at all. What was your other questions?
It was about the painting the gloss.
Yes. Hand painting glosses. It depends on really what you're doing. If you just want a bog standard gloss, then obviously Future is your friend.
Yep, definitely.
Because it does say what it is on the tin. You want a non-yellowing gloss. Can't stress that enough, because there is some real cheap, nasty ones out there. Most of the modern paints now are non-yellowing. If you're doing a small project, you can do things right the way from Tamiya to the clear gloss, which I've got a feeling is something like X. Keep them talking, Sid. I haven't got it right.
Oh, really, Phil? Under the table like that?
Hold on, keep them talking.
Oh, sorry, keep them talking.
Yes, dear.
No, that's what you're doing.
It makes it seem like I'm really knowledgeable. Hold on.
Right, Yezin. It says hello, but he's also got some questions for you, so I'll ask that one again for you in a minute.
Hold on. I'm really knowledgeable. It's not even in my Bible.
Honest, that part of the table does not correspond into my part. I've got
No, there is a block there.
There is a
all right.
cupboard here, honest.
Yeah. Oh, right. Actually, I've lost my tummy list.
Oh dear.
I've got everybody else's in here. Right.
What's that there beside your bottles?
No, that's
a clear top, isn't it?
yeah, but that's clear flat.
Oh, is that?
That's the flat base. Base of base.
Well, possibly X something, then, won't it?
Yeah, here we go.
Oh, he's even got it all highlighted in his little book.
Yeah, but this is like 100 years old.
Oh, okay.
Pink, green, blue, gold, silver, golden, little brown, red.
While he's doing that, I'm going to eat some more Haribo's.
Yellow, green, gold. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's X20. I can't find it in here. I've got, for some reason, I used to have the colour chart on here, but I've taken it out. It must have fallen apart or something. But yes, you could use that if you're doing small. My other personal recommendation, the stuff I quite like, is this is the acrylic gloss varnish from Vallejo. This is the resin one. It's very nice. It's got a non-yellowing formula, although looking at it, it's quite yellowing. Apparently, it does say it's non-yellowing formula. A bottle like this is roughly around about, it was about 7 quid, say 10 quid now, okay? But you thin this more than 50-50, so you will get a couple of litres for a tenner out of it. This would be my one of choice, because I say you do thin it a little bit, around about sort of 50-50. And then you can knock up a bottle, of which I've got one in here, I do believe.
Here's one we prepared
Here's
earlier.
one I prepared earlier, which looks yellow as well, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
Perhaps it starts off yellow, that's why it doesn't yellow.
Perhaps it's just all white, so I don't know. But anyway, that's what I would recommend, something else like that. But, you know, really, you can't go wrong with Johnson's Clear, either the old flavour or the new one, which I've got here. It does exactly say what it says on the tin. Have a look at, obviously, the Red Arrows Hawk build, because obviously I brush painted that on there, and I do believe I did it to the Mustang as well.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely have a look at those.
So yeah, Yazin's question, or Yazin, what kind of washes do you recommend other than flory ones? What about pigments and pigment setters? And could you talk about filters?
Do you know what? I was just about to say he's going to ask you about filters next. Okay, other people's washes. Dear, that's terrible, isn't it? No point are we product placing here whatsoever.
Just getting all lined up in a row.
Okay, the difference between our wash and everybody else's is ours is the only one which is a clay-based product. You'll hear about other ones which then work more like pastels and stuff like that, okay? Ours is a genuine clay-based one. Ours is clay, pigment, and basically a couple of bits in there which help it break the surface tension and help out the capillary action, i.e. making it flow better. All right, that's all it's in ours. Others have lots of other chemicals and various bits and pieces to make it do it. That's why my puppy drank a bottle and it's fine.
Lovely.
But anyway, the thing is, other people's manufacturers, they tend to be different based. So if you're talking things like MIG, AK, whatever they are these days, ammo, they tend to be enamel based or hot items, as I call them. Okay, so they're going to be like lacquer based, enamel based, something else like that. Okay. They work really, really well. Don't get me wrong. Everything has its different thing. Their washes are designed for, you know, perhaps more pin actions, more direct actions, and all the rest of it. Our wash is designed just to chuck it on and get it off. It's as simple as that. You know, basically, other people's washes work exactly the same way. Pigments, it's, you know, where do you start? Apart from, guess what's coming back next month?
Your pigment.
The Flory Models pigments are coming back next month.
Good, because I missed out on those. I never got some.
So yes, they are coming back.
I'll be the first one on the list for some pigments.
End of October, be ready for Telford. They will be back in
Awesome.
our site and all the rest of it. So don't forget, as members, go to the members area. Don't buy them normally.
Pigment setters. Would that be like a PVA glue type
No,
thing?
no, you can actually get it's like an actual like a gloss type thing that goes over them to set them.
Because I normally mix the pigments with PVA glue.
Yeah, which you can do. Yeah. I've got here light colour ones, and I've got other people's down here as well. for pigments and things like that. Pigment, at the end of the day, a pigment really is a pigment. There is no difference. The only difference is the micron count, i.e. how dusty it is and how gritty it is. You know, at the moment, we're going back to our pigments we used to do, are coming back. So they have got, and I still believe they are, the highest micron count of any pigment on the market, because we've asked them to be done that way, and that's what we're doing it to. Generally, there isn't much in them apart from that, as in, you know, obviously range of colours, everything else. But pigments basically do the same thing. Filtering, which I think is still the biggest con on the market, if I'm honest. Filtering, all that is putting a wash of a thin colour of whatever over your model to change its tone, if you like, to change it. So it's no different from using a filter on a camera or anything else like that. So it's just basically just putting a complete film over the model to change its color. So if you're using like a dark type of filter, it will darken everything down and it'll cling to all the high points in the recesses to cause shadowing and stuff like that. Works very well, but don't forget, we've all got a paint range next to us. All you've got to do is thin that particular medium down to be a filter. So this thing where you go out and buy bottles of filter still amazes me, because all it is thin paint at the end of the day.
Thin paint.
So yes, so that's my point to it is.
Okay, he's also put, what liquid mask do you suggest for chipping? I know I saw a video of you doing it somewhere, but not sure which one it was.
Again, mask oil is mask oil. Where's my mask oil? The one I've been using recently, and I really do like, is the Neo mask oil. The great thing about it is when you cut it with a knife, it doesn't wrinkle up.
Okay.
So I reckon if you want to do a camo pattern, you could just brush this over your model and cut it and peel it off, and it comes off in one.
Okay.
And also, if you watch some of the Japanese videos on YouTube, you'll see a lot of these use it for masking clear parts. And they just paint the entire thing, then they cut it and peel it off for the bars and that.
Yeah.
And because this stuff doesn't rack up as you're pulling it, it's really good.
Okay.
So yeah, I do like the Neo stuff, but there again, I'm old school. I actually, the only reason I bought that is because I run out of the old Tumbrel pink stuff. Because when I did it, it was rock hard. It's a cube where it got off over years. So.
Alan is watching, saying he's looking forward to some more fun tonight.
But we've had that already. I'll tip paint everywhere.
Yeah. Ian, good afternoon, lads. From a grey and cloudy Montreal. You to make Tuesday afternoons at work sell by with some good info and a good chuckle or two. When are you going to get someone else on so you can have the 2.5 modelers show?
About John again, isn't he? I was thinking we can get John here on the stool. So anything this tall, I can look across. Getting people in, obviously you have to imagine, you know, we are slightly tacked out the way. Poor old Sid here has to travel, how many miles is it?
I don't know how many miles, but about 40-minute drive.
Yeah, it's a 40-minute drive for him, and that is up a motorway, because literally he's literally just off a motorway, and so am I. So from that point of view, it's pretty straightforward. Everybody else we know is a bit further afield than that. So getting people in here and saying, do you mind popping around on Tuesday night to do this? You know, obviously, if you want to, help yourself. But we are planning on getting people in via the Google Interactive thing and doing it that way as well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another webcam as well, so we can have multiple cams. And that way it will just make it a little bit wider, and I can do the editing bit cut between us and various things like that. But I am planning on getting some of our more local modelers in. So I'm hoping, if we say their names, they'll have to come now, won't they?
They will, but I'll let you say the name.
Oh, right. So we're hoping to get Shannon in, Ron, because he's always gobbing off. He can sit here and do it. Who else gives us our time doing this? Then we can just walk off and leave them to it. Adam, John, definitely John. John's going to be down. He's a great friend of ours here. So John's going to be down. Mr.
Steve, even though there's a difference, but he stays over occasionally.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Steve, although he's just moved house.
He has, yes.
It's very posh now.
Yes, I saw the view.
He's in a top flat.
I know, I saw.
Seagulls pitter-pattering on your feet.
Penthouse.
Penthouse. That's it.
Penthouse Steve.
What's the difference between a penthouse and a flat on the top? One's got seagull shit and the other one hasn't?
Yeah, perhaps.
Perhaps, that's it. One gets a net to stop the seagulls doing it. That's what you get, Steve, living next to the sea. You wait, they'll all be there. In the morning.
Keep you nice and nice and early. Mike, good evening, Phil and Sid. The show keeps getting better and better. You guys knocked it out of the ballpark last week. Fair enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yep.
He's put this is the gentleman that was having problems with his scribing underneath his I think it was a P something. Yeah, P51. It's telling me a P51.
Oh right, yeah.
And he was asking you about putting the fillers in to try and rescribe.
Yeah.
He's actually now put up 2 pictures of a before and after.
I can't show them live on screen because, to be honest, I'm having trouble with my forum.
Phil, can you go over the technique for dealing with steps at the seam line? Believe it or not, I had a bit of a nasty step on the Tamiya 148P51. Also, is the only difference between Mr. Color and Aqueous Color being one is lacquer based and the other is not. I know Phil used Mr. Color on the Tornado build. Right, if I show you the 2 pictures.
Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah, sorry I can't put them on tonight, guys, but we've got trouble with the
that's the before.
Yeah. He's done a nice job.
That's the after.
Yeah, perfect.
Very good job.
Very nice job. When you get steps, what we're basically talking about here is, it's not a good example on the Tornado, but like if you've got a step coming through either to the side or, you know, in the middle, the trouble that obviously you get is when you do your sanding and filling, which do you sand, the high side or whatever you're doing, you're basically trying to blend in. From my point of view, this is where sort of fill is your friend. You know, go overboard with the filler, and if you do lose the detail, you lose the detail. There's no real easy way to get around that problem. And then I'm a great believer in just sand the crap out of it, polish it, get the plastic all nice again, and then you filler in, rescribe, and re-rivet if it needs it, like that one did a great job with, to be honest, and everything else. But there is no easy way with it. That said, available from all good hardware stores. These little scraper jobbies, what you can actually do is scrape down that height difference. Don't forget, you don't have to use this. You could use anything. You could use a straight blade on a razor.
We can't use them anyway.
Well, you can't use that anyway, because I did get a message from John saying it's sold out about an hour and a half.
I went on this site today to have a look.
Yeah, well, apparently went by about sort of, 9 o'clock on Friday.
The flory style.
Yeah, the flory effect, as we're calling it. But the thing is, you can scrape down until you get to a height and go through it from that. But to be honest, it's one of those things in modelling. There is no real easy way. Sometimes you do have to just say, right, okay, it's not right. I'm going to fill it. We're going to chuck loads of filler into it, sand it, and we're going to have to redo it afterwards, which is something that I've done in the past. On a few of my builds. As for the difference between the paints, I've had somebody ask me this today, actually. In fact, it was Ian, who's my mate on Facebook. We yap quite a lot. With the same colour. Let's just do one that's roughly the same. I've got a load down here. Wally. The thing is, oh look, there we go. These are the same paints. That's handy. These two are exactly the same paint. Some of you are saying these ones with the funny tops are the lacquer-based ones. They do a range of lacquer-based ones, okay, but this is the Mr. Hobby range, okay. So you get, it's called Mr. Hobby, Mr. Color. These are always acrylic. The thing I think people get confused with is that I was using this stuff, which is Mr. Hobby, but it's Mr. Color actually on there. This is where it all gets a little bit confusing, because this actually is a synthetic thinner, not synthetic, a cellulose lacquer-based thinner, okay, in an acrylic paint. Yes, you can do it. That's not a problem if you want to do it that way, but these aren't lacquer-based paints. These are still just your standard acrylic paints as we use. It's just that this one here is a Japanese homeland version of this one, okay, and these have these funny tops on them, yet the export ones don't have the funny tops for some reason. I don't know why. The labelling is all totally different and everything, but they are both acrylic. They're exactly the same. It's just a different top and a different label, but the contents are exactly the same.
Okie dokie.
Okay, but you can thin any paint you like with a cellulose or a lacquer thinner. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is, as far as I know. I haven't found anything that won't thin yet. I'm sure I might find something, but from my point of view, I've never found anything that it won't do yet. Okay, so just as I say, if you're never sure with anything, just give it a little try. Just do an upturn pot test as I do. Turn it over, blob of paint, blob of thinners, mix it, see what happens. If it binds together and turns to a glue, then it's probably a no-no. If it flows nicely, you're good to go.
Awesome. John Buller, bless him.
Oh, right.
Evening, gents. Even though I'm posting this at 2:30.
Oh, he's on the phone.
Any tips for removing vacuum form canopy from its backing sheet?
I'm the old tool. I tend to use a Sharpie. So let me just move that. I use a Sharpie pen, mark it all out around on the bottom, cut it quite roughly, and then I must admit, depending on how big and the shape, I'll either get a sharp blade and go around with it, cut it in, or I'll physically sand it with a sanding stick.
We're on page 5 already.
Are we?
And I'm running on page 2.
Are we? You're all saying it's not working.
Say it is slow. I've done a mistake of hooking up onto his Wi-Fi.
That's probably you. It's killed my thing now.
It seems to be slower than me going 3G.
Don't forget the master. It's only over the road.
Oh, is that?
That's why we get a good signal.
So this is Darren, page 2, comment 16.
Evening, Darren.
Simon, no need to design a theme tune. Laurel and Hardy should cover it.
That's about right. Yeah, that's us.
Greeting, guys. One topic for tonight: super glue.
Yes.
What is a good device for applying the super glue? I have tried needles, tweezers, cocktail sticks, micro ball, etch thingies, which looked like a needle with a small ball on the end. How do you stop super glue from gluing your fingers shut, or the tweezers that are holding it, and despite smearing the part in glue and spraying with some setting solution, it still refuses to set until you touch it with said fingers or the blade blasted tweezers?
Super glue, the big thing is you have to remember, there's no point flooding anything with super glue, it will not dry.
So I found putting more super glue on, it doesn't stay.
No, that's right.
If you put the minimum amount of super glue on,
yeah,
it does stay.
And it's a bit like when I was talking, when we did the hind and the aerials and all of that, and the antennas. If you put the tiniest amount on, it will grab it and it will stick and be absolutely fine. Sorry, let me just stop that. Okay. But the thing is, if you put on a load, it's so wet, it just doesn't grab. So what I tend to do is do the minimum amount that actually works. So usually the smeariest little tiny bit works. And then afterwards, put a bit more on top of it, and that'll do it. The reason it sticks your fingers so good together or sticks anything, and I still have the scars to prove it, is literally it's because when you put your fingers together, you squash it out. It's not like you've got a blob.
And your hands are warm as well.
That's it. And it pushes it out. So it's a very thin layer and enables it to go off very, very quickly. So that's the whole point with super glue. It is the minimum amount does the job. Then you can go on and put it on really thick. I did on the Star Straw a couple of spots, go in behind it and put up more and build it up. So it's almost like resin to take care of any gaps and stuff like that.
You did say, though, you found a good tip of applying the super glue was a needle, but the actual end where the thread goes through and cutting it off, so you've got the 2 prongs.
I can't know where it is now.
It sort of flows between the two.
If you imagine, if you imagine this would normally be your eye on your thing, I cut it off, so you're left with 2 prongs on a sewing needle, okay? That way, when you touch it in, it fills up in here with the glue. Then when you touch it down, it flows out. When it bungs up, because it will do, all you do is get a flame, set fire to it, and it burns it off instantly. So it cleans out the hole, and then you can just go in and go again. In fact, I think we showed that tip quite a lot talking about on the ship build. Yeah. So have a look at the Iwo Jima, and it's the photo etch set. I do it all the time in there. And then I go around and back to it with PVA glue afterwards. Once it's got a bite to hold it there, and then come in.
So I think if you're too quick with another lump of super glue, it would undo the super glue.
Yeah, it could possibly heat
and make it loose again.
Soften it. Yeah. So yes, that's the thing with super glue. Definitely,
the
less is best.
So comment 17, Neil. What I found works is to put a blob of super glue on a plastic lid. Then use a Flex Eye Fill CA applicator.
Oh, FlexiFile,
to collect small blobs of glue. Cleaning up is easy, as I simply burn off the excess glue from the tool. And he's put up a link. He's put up a link for you. There we go.
See, I've got these as well. I don't know if you remember them. I reviewed them. And
I've
these,
used them,
yeah, they're Teflon, and the super glue can't stick to it. So you can put a bit in, and it did come with a cap, but it filled up with super glue and went rock hard. So that sort of got rid of that. But the thing is, you sort of literally just tap it on, and then you can put it on. But to be honest, I prefer me needle way.
Yeah.
Because also the thing is,
difficult to get it off.
if you're doing with a piece of photo etch, what you can actually do, if you've got the two-prong needle and you've got an area that comes down to the floor, say, you can put the prong thing each side of it, and the glue all flows around it, and you can come away, and you're good to go. Yet with this, you've got to try and touch the sides to get it to the capillary action to flow and to pull off.
Neil's actually said same as us. With super glue, I found less is more.
Yeah, definitely.
For general construction, use Tamiya Extra Thin or Mr. Hobby Cement S. I used to use super glue until I saw the light, and now there's no going back.
No, definitely. I must admit, I used to speed build using super glue. Trouble with super glue as well, ultraviolet light will kill it, turns it to dust. I think we covered it before, but it will literally turn to powder. And how I know that is, I did a series of commissions of the Tamiya 1350 ships years ago now, this is back in the 90s, and they used to come back to me for sort of annual cleaning, which involved literally airbrushing them and de-dusting and everything else. And I touched part of the superstructure, and literally it just moved. And when I took it off, it literally just lifted off, and it was all powdery. And what it was the super glue was all powdery. So I took it completely apart, rebuilt it, which was quite handy because it all just pinged apart quite happily. But some of the areas you could tell where it was letting go. But unfortunately, which I did have a word with the client, you know, don't put them in the sun. But they used to get the sun late in the afternoon. And that's what it was. It was being eaten. And that's why it was a sunny yellowy colour on one side and not on the other.
Mike Winter, good evening, gents. Hope all is good with you tonight. What's the one bit of kit that you couldn't do without? What's the one bit of kit
Sid
that you couldn't do without tonight? night shift tonight, so I look forward to watching this on Wednesday morning.
Oh, right.
I could do this without you, actually. No, you could do it without me, but
no, it's crap.
But then you wouldn't be splattering paint.
No, I wouldn't be able to throw paint all over the place. Mine's easy. Mine are my orange scissors. As I say, I've had these pair now for over 15 years. And before that, there was another pair. Until I tried to cut something really hard with it and busted them. So, what's yours?
Pointy pair of tweezers.
Pointy tweezers? I don't have pointy tweezers.
I do. They've got a very sharp point to them as well.
So have you stabbed yourself many times?
But they're good for picking up small stuff and holding it.
Don't they go ping?
Occasionally it does. And I do, you know, a couple of blue words going on.
Been there.
Yeah. And
yeah,
the carpet monster's got it.
You can't hear it land. That's the worst one. It's when it fires off and you're hoping you can hear it. You wait to hear the sound so you know where it went. And it's like deadly silence. So you're like, shit, can be anywhere now.
So so my tweezers are very handy.
Well, I might have to invest in some of them because I haven't got any of them.
I'll get you a pair.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind like that.
Oh, you'd like that.
I am. Brett. Evening, gentlemen.
Evening, Brett.
I'm at work.
Yeah. CTRL 5, isn't it? I think we worked it out. It was.
In Colorado.
Colorado?
Yeah, that's the one. So I will be watching the replay.
Have you got snow? It's just that somebody put a video up early on YouTube and apparently they got snow already.
Lovely.
Yes.
Ooh. Great show. Can't wait to watch it live sometime. A question.
We will do a US version.
For my D-Day group build, I'm going to put the Edard resin gun bay in the wing of my Spitfire. Any good tips so I don't screw it up when I'm cutting the wing into the wing?
Yeah, don't go mad with it. Obviously, check where you're going to cut, and it is that old thing, isn't it? You know, cut once, measure twice, isn't it? Check it everywhere, exactly how it's going to go in, where you need to cut, and everything else. Because as soon as you start cutting or drilling, then it's too late. So literally, you just want to make sure, line it up from each side so you've got it marked out. Maybe get a Sharpie or a pen and mark out on the inside of the wing where it's all going to go and how it's all going to fit together, so you know how it all moves its way through. Also, have a look at it completed when it's together and everything else, because when you're putting gun bays in, sometimes they can be a little bit thick, so you have to thin them down. So in some cases, like the bloody awful Corsair, I had to thin both sections of the wing until you could almost see through them to fit a gun bay in, which makes it all extremely difficult. The best bit of advice I can give is literally to say, make sure you know where you're cutting and take your time. Literally take your time. Don't rush it. If you've only got half an hour to do it tomorrow. Because if you rush it, you're going to end up making a cock up. And I think we're all guilty of that one.
Definitely.
My worst cock up for that is where Buster lost his, I cut the arse end of it off because it wasn't supposed to be like that, so I did the job on it, cut him away so the engine would be exposed, and then realised I cut the wrong area. So I had to glue it back together on one side. I'd only done it on one half. I had both huge large halves before I put them together, and I cut one and I went like this and it was like that. It's like, oh shit. Because I followed the panel line and I cut one, and then there would have been the next one back on the other side, so it was literally two halves, and they were like this stepped. So I had to then cut it again. So I got a little piece. I had to glue it back, but that's easier to do that than it is going through a wing. So yes, that was my worst one like that. Of not checking, double check everything.
You're going to put up a nice little picture.
Oh, there's a new version. Very good. We'll have to use that as our thing. At the moment, I've got the pair of us. I took a freeze frame out of the live show, so we're looking casual.
Yeah.
We ought to do this for the show. Hold on.
Hey.
We have to freeze because otherwise it's like, that's it. I'll drag that out the hard copy.
Clint.
I'll do a photo shoot.
I have to get my good side though.
Yeah, I'm back on my good side because my hair's better on this side. This side goes this way, this one goes this way. Everyone says to me, oh, change your hair, Phil. No, it just goes which way I'm sitting. I like two-face.
It does.
It does. It goes round on like a circuit. You have a scale electric round my head. Yeah. I'm going to cut a wedge in it. I'll be like, Will I am.
Clint, good day, Phil and Sid. My question is, can you mix a pigment or paint to Floy model wash, e.g. concrete, to achieve a green slime effect? Forgive me if this has been covered on the site somewhere else.
Take a little bit out and do it to it. Don't stick it in your bottle because you will contaminate the bottle. And if you put in anybody else's pigment or paint, it will turn to concrete. Literally, it will go to a sediment this thick at the bottom. The thing is, what works so well with ours is the pigment count is so high, it stays, like this one, as solid all the time. Okay, so it's not actually separating. Got a little bit in there, but it doesn't, you don't get water at the top, and that's been stood there for weeks now. So what happens is, if you put anything into it, the particles will bind to it. The stuff in ours will grab hold of it, and then it falls out of suspension, so you can't do it. If you're doing it in a small part, pigments, certainly you can mix in with it. Okay, and you should be good to go. I wouldn't put acrylic paint with them because ours are just water-based and there's nothing else. So if it does work a bit, you might be okay. Personally, I've never tried it. I'll give it a whirl now. Try do it with the old one here.
Right. While you're doing that,
whilst I'm doing that, you crack on, mate.
The next question is from Paul Lane, comment 22. Looking into getting a new airbrush, can't decide which one to get. Been looking at Harder and Steinbeck range, thinking of either Infinity or Evolution CR, which comes with a 2-prong nozzle. Yeah, wondered what you would recommend.
It depends on your budget. If you're, obviously money's no count and you're going to be doing this for the rest of your life, I would say obviously go with an Infinity because it has got some nice little features. I don't use them though, that's the thing. If I'm honest, you know, you've got one as well now and all the rest of it. I don't think you do use the lock off on the back.
No, because I don't even know what it does. So.
Well, there you go. So, but that's the thing. If you don't use the features, really, the Evolution is the perfect airbrush. And I've got one, and I've got the AL version, which, to be honest, I've been using today. Look, because you're going to pull the trigger then. I'm always going to pull the trigger at you. Look, it's brilliant. It's covered. But yeah, I've got the AL version. Obviously, don't buy the AL version because it's a ridiculous amount of money for what it is. Because all it is an Evo, but it's the same price as an Infinity. So, but if you buy a Evolution, which is mine, we've got a workout yesterday. It does everything you could ever want. It's just a little bit chunky, and it's not quite as delicate, shall we say. When I mean delicate, I don't mean, you know, in its construction, in its usage. You can really get in fine with the Infinity, okay? But day to day, I don't think you really need the gizmos. And I think there's about 50 quid difference between the two. So if money's no object, then yeah, knock yourself out. Here's the Infinity. Got the Infinity here. It's a fantastic airbrush. It is still my airbrush of choice. I can't see anything replacing it. And it just works for me really, really well. And don't forget, it's a bit like cars. Everyone has their personal preference for what they like. But I love the HS brushes. They're just so easy to use, so easy to clean and everything else. The Evo is still a cracking piece of kit. It does exactly the same as what this does 99% of the time. It's just occasionally, if you want that little bit more of a finer trigger setting and the movements you do, the Infinity will give you that, where the Evo is very much, you know, it's sort of your everyday airbrush versus your more fine one. But to be honest, I use the Infinity all the time now. But the Evo certainly was my bread and butter airbrush that I used, and nothing surpassed it for 10 years. Even though I had an Infinity, I still always used the Evo till recently, and it's just that thing now. It's sort of gone down there, and you know, the realms of time now. I don't tend to touch it, but certainly, you know, until probably only about a year ago, if you look through my videos, you'll still see me using it. Yeah, I've had that Infinity now for, well, 2008 I bought that. So, you know, I've had it a few old years here. So definitely, it depends on your budget. If you can afford it, go for it. Oh, keep it. Sorry, boss. Right.
So I just don't want to delay you.
Well, this is it. Okay.
So there we go. So yes,
we're going in.
Got that. Right. I'm not going to pronounce his first name because he's told me not to.
Well, we managed to do it.
So I'm going to call him Jan.
Yeah, it's Jan, isn't it?
What he's told me to call him.
Yeah.
He's put, evening guys, call me Jan. Because the mess you made of my name last week still brings me colleagues to a laugh. Which, but fair enough. See, we have got our uses.
See, I can't do this because my arm hurts.
Oh.
There we go, guys. It works perfectly well. No problem at all. But as I say, don't stick it in your bottle of.
So that was your whitewash with a Tamiya paint, was it?
Yes, with Tamiya paint. I can tell you categorically, it does work with everybody's paint. It's just that I don't want to be responsible for people buggering up their equipment. Yeah. One little technique I do
so always check before you
do. So always check. I call it the top check. Okay, bung at the top of something, give it a quick go, and you'll be good. No problem at all. One technique you can do with our wash, as I say, I can't say about anybody else's, but you can mix paint with it and then spray it.
You did for one of your builds.
I did, but I didn't publicise it because I don't want people going out and destroying their hard work. But if you wanted
you didn't do that for your build.
No. I did it for a build that they didn't see. That's the difference. The thing is, the wash is fine to spray through an airbrush and all the rest of it. Yeah, you just eat a Haribo, keep quiet in the corner. Yeah, literally, you can put the wash and add a little bit of paint to it to give it texture. What we're talking here now is that you can actually mix it with like mud, the mud colour with other things to give you texture and to do some things with armour. I've done an aircraft to give it a more weathered look. I've added grime to grey. And what it does though, because the clay by its nature is very flat, it's very dead finished and everything else like that, when you actually spray it on there, it's what it does. It gives like real heavy dirt and grime to your, your model. So when you start rubbing it around and everything afterwards, you can eat through the layers and go back to being paint as well as actually what you just sprayed on and everything else. So there's a bug flying around. But as I say, it's one of those things. There's a lot of trial and error. It's not something you just grab it and put it over your best model until you find to play with it.
Jan's currently building a Edard 72nd scale. I can never pronounce this plane, so I'm going to read it to you.
Oh yeah, it's a Fokker Eindecker, which means one wing.
I can never pronounce it, so there you go. A week ago, I closed the body. I only forgot to add the seat belts. Noticed as soon as the glue was set, of course. Is there a trick to add seat belts in later?
It's a bit tight.
If it makes any difference, I'm not using the photo etch ones, but I want to use tape.
Yeah, to be honest, on the Eindecker, it's a bit tight. Yeah, you're talking, we say it's a little old to get it in there. If you're using tape, what I would recommend is obviously glue the back harness into the back so you can get in there from the top, and then you should be able to poke them in and down in there. Then if you use a little bit of PVA glue to hold them down, you could do it that way. The other way, which is a bit more tricky, because they're the colour of them and the style that there used to be in those days, quite big wide belts they had and everything else. But you can do them out of lead, thin lead sheet. The great thing with that is, again, you can stick them in pointing upwards, glue them into place, and then literally you can fold them and bend them into your position exactly how you would want, and get around the problem that way.
Okie dokie.
So yeah.
Neil has put, evening, hope you guys are well. What are the kits on your Christmas list this year? Any you have been waiting for that you are desperate to get your hands on? Phil, how's the shoulder?
No good yet. I still haven't been to my physio. I was still stuck. That's it. That's as high as I could go, which is, you know, and I still can't put my hand on. But I'm all right like this. This is the good thing. A bit thankful at night. On the painkillers, it's okay. But I'm not a martyr. Go on then, you go first. What are you after? Christmas
I don't know,
kit?
because I haven't really thought about them, because I've got enough kits as it is at the moment. I know
Got
it
so
sounds
many
daft.
kits.
I've got a cupboard full.
So there's not one that you thought, God, look at that. Wouldn't mind doing that.
Not at the moment.
No. I must admit, I'm very lucky because my stash is pretty much where I want it to be.
Indeed, you've got a quite nice stash.
I have. I've got some nice stuff in the stash.
I've
And obviously-
actually, I'll tell a lie. I have now I've seen you've got one.
Right.
I do like the Ford.
Well, you want what?
Your Ford
350s?
truck, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. If you want to send Sid.
But I've got the Huey.
Huey,
This is what I've been wanting for ages. So
Yeah.
I saw another one of them on eBay today for £50.
Did you?
Mm.
What? The Vietnam era?
Vietnam one.
Bastard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yes. From my point of view, I don't think there's anything due out I'm jumping up and down about. There's various things in the pipeline that I'm not over keen on. Some various kits coming out, and I'm thinking I'm not that worried about it. There seems to be a lot of armour. If you're into your armour, there seems to be a lot of armour on the way. You know, the companies such as Trumpeter and people like that seem to be really kicking out a lot recently, and it's got some more stuff coming out. So, but kit-wise, I must admit, there's nothing actually I'm hankering after.
I'm sure you might be aware of it. Trumpeter, I saw on Facebook, they put a picture of a Osprey. Do you know anything about the Osprey for Trumpeter
What,
kit?
the V22?
I don't know. I just saw it as an Osprey. I just recognised it as an Osprey. I noticed it on Facebook because I've got obviously Trumpeter on my like page.
So much. Did you see I was on Trumpeter?
I did like that.
That
was
had
very
over
impressive.
1,000 likes. I was impressed with that.
But yeah, no, I noticed that they got an Osprey, and I didn't think that they did one because I thought it was only Italy that had done the
Hasegawa done the 72nd.
right.
Maybe that's how coming out.
But whether they've decided to come out with one, because it also had the props in different
Oh right, folded up.
locations. So I know when you do one of them, you can only have them at a certain angle because they're
That's
too
right.
big, because they won't fit on the floor. So all
No.
landers. So.
Mhm.
So yeah, that I must admit, Osprey. But after you've done the review on the other kit, I decided not to have that kit.
Well, the trouble with the old one, yeah, it is.
Yeah, you can keep that one.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
I have to bloody build it.
Yeah, there's no point wrapping it up for me.
No, all right, damn. Keep sealing the bags back, pretending it's brand new. From my point of view, there's nothing actually I'm hankering after. All I want to do is build some now, which is quite nice because, to be honest, this week and next week, I'm full weeks doing this now.
Good.
That's it.
Ready for Topper.
It all starts as of next week, you see. So the new lot take over, and I'm free down here. 5 days a week in here. Brilliant.
To get your whip out.
I will. Well, I won't have to now. I have to get on. But no, so the thing is, I've got lots of kits in there that I'm desperate to build, that I really want to get on and do. So I have a plan, which I was going to mention in the new show, but we might not have a new show, so I can mention it now, is I'm going to do 3 kits on the go at any one time, starting as of next week. I'm going to have a big kit, which is like a long-term 3 or 4 month build, which in this case is going to be the high one. Yeah. I'm going to have a medium-sized kit, which will be some type of 48th type thing. So we're talking probably, you know, it'll be 48th, so it could be anything, but that type of thing. And I'm going to have a smaller kit, which will literally be something I can kick out in a week. So my point is that I might do some 70 seconds so I can show you various details. It might be a piece of armor where I can literally, you know, I'm not saying it will be done every week, but it'll be more a case of it's built, then painted, and it's done. So if you're into the 70-second stuff, there'll be something always there for you, and obviously you'll get loads. And obviously, you know, you can take the information I'm trying to lay across and all the rest of it to other builds. But the idea as well is that because I've got more time, obviously, you know, I can get a lot more built, I can do a lot better, I've got more time to edit and everything else, and I can rattle through them faster. Good. So the idea being, you say, one big build that takes a couple of months to do, like behind the trumpeters, move that keeps sticking to me. That's going on hot in here today. And everything else. So, and then obviously, as I say, it might be a 48 Spitfire, you know, so we're going to have big, medium, and small. I'm just going to wrap through them like that.
Splendid.
So what I'd like to do is ideally there'll be 3 videos every week.
Watch this space.
Watch this space. So yeah, that's the plan with that.
Right, so on to Trevor, which is comment 25. We'll have to try and catch up with these.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on Mr. Hobby dissolved putty? I've been told it's better than Mr. Surfer filling gaps in seams as it's thicker. It has also been suggested to me that it's good for making good when rescribing has gone a little astray. I thought it doesn't help with the tendency for the scriber to follow the path you have just made good.
I've never got on with it.
Okay.
If I'm honest, this is it. I did back in the day, I'm not sure, it may have been on the old server before we switched over to YouTube for all the bits and pieces, but I did do an on test.
I'm going to be brave and use one of yours.
Oh, go on then. So I did an on test with all the different types of filler. So I don't know if you guys remember it, but I did have dissolved putty in there, and I must admit it wasn't exactly brilliant. It did the job, but you know, it's one of those things. It's with all putties, you always have that usual thing of shrinkage and all the bits and pieces that go with it. Dissolved putty, I'm guessing what they're basically saying is it's thin, but when you think about their other range, which, you know, this is the 1200, but they've got the 500. I'm roughly thinking this must be around about the 250, then they do a 500, then they do 1000. This is the 1200 version of it, which is obviously the finest of them all.
I've got the 500, I think.
Yeah, well, I think this is more because this is even thicker. So I'm thinking it's just part of their range. Instead of them calling it 500, I think they call it dissolved putty instead. Again, everything has its uses. I think it's probably very good in certain areas, such as intakes, filling up gaps like that, because it's dissolved. The capillary reaction, it should follow the crack of the seam line on its own, so you can do things like that with it. Generally, though, I must admit, it's one of those tools. I have other things in my arsenal, but I don't tend to use this as much as perhaps I should. In fact, the only time I have used it was for the demo. That's why it looks so nice, because I've just never used it again. But that's to say, it's probably like everything. If I gave it a crack, I might, you know, but I've got other things that work for me. And as I'm modelling, I'm trying to get on with it as best as I can. So if I can get things down here that work for me, then fair enough.
Marlon, hi guys. These live shows are great. I can't listen to you guys while working on my PC. First question, is there a countdown, 30 minutes when I start the live stream? Is this normal, or is there some kind of cue? Oh, there's this countdown, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
When I start the live stream.
There's a countdown at the beginning that starts hours in advance. I tend to put these up in the morning, and I set up all the players that you're watching this in, if you're watching live now, all amongst. So you've got the one on the main site, which has got the forum below it, so you can do it all on one page. Then there's another one which is in the live stream area, and another one which most of you are probably watching now, which is in the forum. So in there it says, you know, 4 hours, 30 minutes, and it's on a countdown to go. That countdown is only a countdown until I told it I'll be going live at 7 o'clock. So that's all it's doing. The idea of me putting it up early is where some of the American guys were saying, when do you start? And so you got an idea because it says you're on in 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever it is. So that was the idea to that one. Where it says 30 minutes live, I'm not too sure about that one. What happens is this normally streams live as you join it. You should pick it up live exactly where we are now. Okay. When it finishes, it then does that render thing where it puts up a recording, and for the first hour it's a really low res horrible version, and then it will do a second pass of the render of the recording, and then it's a nice sharp in hopefully HD and all the rest of it, so you'll be able to see that and go up. But I know last week we did have some dropouts when I watched it back. I must admit, as I was modelling, I had us on. That was really weird. I felt like you hear again. It's like quite weird because I'm modelling, and then it goes quiet, and I look up, and there's a black screen, and I'm like, "Oh, what's gone on?" And then we come back, so there is little dropouts every now and again. If we knew where they were, we could swap seats.
We could.
We could come back. They're like teleported.
Second question is, what was the last kit you guys screwed up and threw away, and how long ago?
Morning.
Mine was the Airfix transporter, the 172nd scale. The one that you sort of got the Churchill tank on.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh, it was so bad. I just couldn't fathom the instructions. Couldn't get this. So I just literally binned it.
Just went.
Literally binned it, and that was only
Last week.
Yeah, months. a couple of weeks to a month ago. Yeah, so I just thought I'd do something small just to occupy myself while I was doing some of the bigger stuff.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't follow the instructions. Couldn't work out where bits were supposed to go, so I gave up. Just threw it away. At least it was only a 72nd scale kit that I got off eBay, so
you don't mind it. We'll keep it for spares.
Some bits I did keep for spares, I must admit, but most of it went in the bin.
I'm a great believer in there's two ways of looking at it, I suppose. You could always say that technically you can't screw up a kit because it's only as good as how you make it and the rest of it. The other thing as well is if you've learned something from it, you could use it as a learning thing to have a go at something perhaps you wouldn't because you didn't want to screw up a good kit. So yeah, I have a Buster. So in some ways you could treat a crap kit and think, right, look, this isn't going well. Let's try some crap on it. Let's try some weathering. Let's do because let's face it, all you're going to do is throw it.
Mine's the Airfix Vulcan.
Yeah, well, that's
I put it all together and then sort of gave up with it because my rescribing and all that went to Toot. So that's my Buster now.
Yes, I must admit I've done a few of those and never been happy with it. From my point of view, you guys would never let me bin a kit.
No, we wouldn't.
So I don't have a choice, do I? And I've been doing this now for, you think Flooring Models has been going now 10 years. Then we went Pro Modeler in 2007. So I probably haven't thrown a kit now in best part of over 10 years. Because you lot would all be, look, he's given up on it. And I know what you lot are like, give him a Wing That Wings kit. That's why you lot saying, I want to see you do a such and such, just to see me fail. That's what it is. But no, there is that point that, sometimes I'll do a kit and I'm thinking, really? This isn't good. But because all of mine have been commission works for the last, when did I start? 94. So 20 years now I've been doing it. 20 years I've been doing this professionally full time and still loves every minute. No,
gets up every morning thinking, yes, I can't wait to get down there.
I do actually. That's the really sad thing. I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, yeah, but now it's your hobby and your job. And it's like, nah, it's still my hobby. Just happen to get paid for it.
Indeed. What more could you ask for?
This is it. But it's still a hobby before it's a job. Especially now, I've managed to get rid of the rubbish side of the business.
So we've got another comment, but I'm going to pass you over to say his name.
Haken?
Haken, that's how I would have pronounced that. So that's right. This is comment 27. Hi, Phil and Sid. Got a question, model question. I'm trying my luck on a second-hand 1982 Rebel F15C. The nose wheel, hub, tyre are missing. Luckily, I hope I have the main gear tyres still. But where can I get a new hub, tyre to this old kit? Rebel themselves do not have them anymore. They said when I contacted them, otherwise I'll have to do as you did with the Tomcat in-flight model.
Yeah.
So otherwise I'll have to go into an in-flight model.
Did you say it's 30 seconds?
It doesn't say what scale.
What scale? Aftermarket. Wheels. Obviously you can buy for you know, a generic, you know, just have a look for F16 resin wheels. Somebody will do them. I imagine do the weighted wheel version where it looks like it's a squash, and just buy a set of them. Shouldn't be too much. Have a look on eBay. But certainly, I'm just trying to think. Oh God, the thing is, I know the guy as well. He's got a very good company, and he does. That's what he does. He does wheels and stuff like that. I'm sure he'll do one in all the scales for F16s. Because also, it's a bread and butter aircraft. Let's face it, F16s.
F15.
F15. Oh, forget that.
F15C.
Oh, that will be like the win. No, it doesn't. I'm just trying to think who it could be. Have a look round. I'm sure one of the members will poke this up. Certainly, there is aftermarket in everybody's scale. If not, shout it up in the old forum, and you'll be surprised who's got a wrecked one to be going to be quite happy to post up for you and get you a spare.
Paul Selwood, hello Phil and Sid. A question for Phil. You mentioned in one of your shows earlier in the year about doing a tutorial on how to airbrush light colour paints. When is that planned for?
Did I? Why would I say such a thing?
To be honest, I know obviously what you recently said about them. I can vaguely remember you saying that you would give it a go live or do.
Did I?
Yeah, but that was quite a while ago.
All right. Well.
What's this space? That's what we planned for the next one.
I have done some. I remember I did the blacks on test. Do you remember I sprayed some? You know, the thing is, I can't do it now because I have to set it all up to do it. I will sort something out, but as you say, I'm not a fan. I don't like their paints. And as I say, we've spoken about it before, and I know we spoke about it the weekend. Any paint where you have to sit down and work it out for like 3 hours to be able to spray it, to me, isn't worth my time. You know, time's money at the end of the day.
That you can work with.
And I've got the same colour in somebody else's, which I can just put it in a bottle and spray it. So that's my point to it. It's a shame because light colour do a cracking range of colours. That is always the trouble with light colour. They do an amazing range of paints and all the rest of it. It's just that actually spraying them, you know, I get to think like trying to do like we did to the Hind, for instance. That's a classic example. The Hind, you know, because it wasn't weathered, because it was weathered raw, if you like, didn't have a protective coat. I can't imagine their paint standing up to the abuse it got. Yeah, ACAN, no problem. No. You know, and ACAN are probably, I should think, close to them. I would have thought, because they don't smell. Really good paint. I will do something. Honest.
Chris O'Neill. Good evening, chaps. Missed last week's live show, so looking forward to this one. Video quality very good from up here in Congleton. Chris, that was. Jurgen, hi gents, got a beer, sit back, relax and enjoy the show. Right, on to page 3. Not of the Sun newspaper, because that's no longer there.
Don't know about them. Don't know about them. Page 3.
No, they do actually. Yeah. I wouldn't know because I don't read papers.
No, nor
I can't read.
I just don't know what they say.
David, good evening, gents. I decided against the 40-inch tonight.
Right, watch the normal one.
Yazin, YouTube says technical difficulties. Edit. Gone now.
Oh, he obviously fixed his problem.
Yep. Steve Williams. Hi, Phil and Sid. Sound okay, but black bar across mid-screen saying please stand by, technical difficulties. And that was an hour ago. Not sure the sound is working very well, chaps. You both seem to have really weird southern UK accents for some reason.
Yeah, that's it. So, well, I'm from Kent.
So is that us live then, is it?
Yeah. Should we see if we sound all right?
Against the
yeah.
Sounds right at the moment.
It's you with your funny accent.
When is the HE111 build starting?
Friday.
And will there be a buddy build thread set up when it starts?
Yes.
When it starts?
Friday.
Hans. Hello, Hans. Give Walther Sylvia set a whirl. Walther's.
Who? Werther's, eh? Oh, Daco. Yes, sorry, Daco. I have used their stuff in the past, I must admit. I picked some up.
Oh, is that for the softness that we're talking about? Right, I'm with you. So we just caught up. That's not much.
Well, that's it. That's it. We've gone page what? We just caught up.
Yeah, page 3 now.
All right.
Hello, Russell.
Russell.
Hi, guys. Good evening. I have a question about the enamel thinners. Trick.
Yes.
Will any enamel thinner work with this technique? I ask as I tried Humbrol enamel thinners on a test piece, and the decal was happily eaten in its entirety and ended up a black smudge.
Are you sure it was enamel thinners? That would be my question. Because don't forget, make sure it's not your white spirits and all the rest of it. And say that one I know works with it.
And Russell,
I will show it live in here. This is how much trust I have in this.
Ooh.
Enamel, you can vouch it's on here.
This is.
Look. You get just a smudge. Look.
Yeah, just a smudge.
So it's not eating.
It's more like dirt than anything else.
Yeah.
You're dusting.
Doesn't eat. See?
Yeah.
It doesn't eat into the paint. And this hasn't been overcoated or varnished or anything else like that. That has, this hasn't. Okay? Because I've still got a tiny bit of silvering down here I need to take care of.
Gives it a quick wipe.
Give it a quick wipe. That'll do. But yeah, this stuff, all right, we'll just say, this is Tamiya's enamel thinners, does not eat acrylic paint. And I've tried it on everyone's, to be honest. I had a go at it the other day on some other bits and pieces, and it's absolutely fine. It may be that Humbrol's is something slightly different. That's all. That will be my thing on it. I can't, obviously, that's why I said about it. Before you try it, test it. Do not just jump straight in, otherwise you could end up in a lot of
Lucky
trouble.
enough, he did test it first.
So that is good. So well done, Russell. Sorry you've had trouble, but good job you checked.
Help me, OB Phil, and OB Sid. But seems we know Russell, we can laugh at him and just say, we love you really, Russell. Ian, evening, guys. Good luck with tonight's show. Question for Phil. When are you going to build a car, motorcycle or F1 car to practice your gloss finishes with no weathering?
Yes, soon, very, very soon. To be honest, next maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
I'm going to hold you to that because I'm hoping it's going to be that one over my right shoulder.
It is.
Good.
Because I want to do.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
We've spoken it on the last couple of live shows, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
But I want to have a go with these very flash like pearlescent paints and things like that for a real high gloss finish. So that's what I'd like to do with that one.
Lovely. Yazin put hi from Bulgaria again. Lovely duo to you two. Any advice on hard to fill and sand spots like corners or under joints? What about rescribing raised panel lines? Actually, I had a problem. I had to try and sand something that was a bit of super glue in a corner, and all I did was cut off one of your sanders, put it on top. Then I got like tweezers or something and just used it that way. Because there's no way I could get my finger or a long stick and stuff like that in there. And that did work. It didn't come out perfectly, but
yeah,
it's better than what it was. Areas. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's the trouble. When you're trying to get into tight areas, it's a case of really what works. It's what you can get in there with. So it may be cutting up a sanding stick or a sponge or whatever you want to do to get in there. Or literally, I say I've peeled like a sanding sponge apart, taken it off and wrapped it round like literally a file or a paintbrush and gone in there to try and sand it in. I must admit, with the sanding sticks, and with the little skinny ones, I tend to get in there as much as you can with them. But again, it's one of those things. It's what works best for you, and obviously with the shape and everything else that is with it, to try and get in there. If it's a painted area, you could always just drop a little bit of gloss in there, just to smooth it over.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a particularly nasty area you can't get into, and it's something that's very noticeable, I've done that in the past.
Hans, any further, in brackets, hints at a Floyd Models, hints girly calendar?
Well, we were speaking about this earlier.
We was.
We do have something in the pipeline As I say, girly calendar. I'm not a fan of doing the girly calendars.
Didn't want to do like that.
Well, no.
Is that why you got me?
Yeah, that's it. No, I'm very open-minded. It's all right. I'm all right with my sexuality. I'll get Mel to get them out. Right, we're as I say, we do have we left it in the other room? We have, haven't we? And they can't see the other one, and I haven't got one down here. We do have a couple of more Flory model pinups to come, which should be around in the next couple of weeks. So there'll be 3 of those. And everything else. But obviously the trouble with the calendars is when you look at how much it's going to cost to do one, it's going to cost us around about £4,000, which is a bit more money than I was hoping to spend on the calendar. And then obviously, you know, we have to get the money back somehow, which makes them a hell of a lot of money if we only sell like 100 of them. So and everything else like that. So we don't know.
So it's under consideration.
It's under consideration, but obviously that's to do, to be honest, with the sales team now, not so much us. Not our job.
Not our headache.
Not our headache. It's their headache, not mine. I have nothing to do with them now, which is lovely. In fact, I was having a conversation with them today about a certain product. It's like, it's not my problem. You deal with it.
Steve Williams, Black Bar gone now. P.S. Thanks for the tip last week on cutting plastic card squares. Fantastic.
Lovely job.
Glad we helped. Well, I should say you helped because you're the one doing the cutting. Neil, the other week you guys gave a blank look at the mention of Cargill and Lego.
Oh, Craigle.
Craigle. Gave it a blank look when we mentioned Craigle and the Lego. Can I can I recommend you watch the Lego movie? It has some of the nice analogues for the modelling, and if you ever played with Lego, it's an awesome movie. It's good for kids too. Might be a son.
Oh, I have to do it. And to be honest, Lego and Star Wars is what I did until I was like 15. You know, then I was allowed out.
Trevor, Tamiya X20A used sparingly works great as a setter.
It does, yeah, no problem with that. And to be honest, that was my staple way of doing it before. For years, that's what I did. Literally all throughout the 90s, I used to use Tamiya X20A. That's when you used to be able to buy in the UK before it got stopped and they came back in. But that's what I used as a setting solution. But you could do with a softener as well. A lot of people dismiss what softener does, but if you've got a really complex, if you had something over the top and you need to get over these bends, the softener just makes it get in there in the first place. The trouble with a setter, which is basically what you're doing with using X28, it bends it then into position and it stretches it and all the rest of it to do it.
I've been that sad. I've actually sat there and just watched it work.
Have you?
Yeah.
Were you there a long time?
I was.
Was it like watching paintbrush?
Yeah, but
do you see all the little wrinkles?
It was good seeing how quickly it actually did wrinkle compared to what I thought it would.
I did do a video, but it didn't come out exactly well. When I did I did the tutorial on deckling, I used one of these, zoomed it right in on the decal, literally like this,
and left it filmed
and watched it filmed. And then I tried to speed it up. They go like really wrinkly and then settle down. And I tried to do it as a speed up, but it just the focus wasn't brilliant because what it was, I had it literally on a pot like this, and it wasn't focused on that. It was focused on here. It was before I used to play with focus, and it was just all on auto back then, and it didn't. You couldn't see the sharpness of it. You know, looking at it, you're like, oh yeah, here it goes. But I have to redo it. Now we've got the better cameras. When the new ones come in, I'll redo it on a time lapse. Because it's quite interesting to watch it develop.
Brian Smith, comment 43. Greetings from America. Greetings from America, guys. Have you guys heard any rumours on a new tall 148 OB10 Bronco with Kitty Hawk announcing their 32nd kit? Wondering if a 48 version is on the horizon.
Well, yeah, I've seen the CAD work.
You, not me.
Yeah, I've seen the CAD work for the Kitty Hawk one. I thought that was 48. Oops.
Bloody hell.
Oh, not good. I thought the Bronco one for Kitty Hawk was 48, if I'm honest. I didn't realise it was 32nd. That'd be a big kit. But apart from that, no, I haven't. I haven't heard any more about that. So I don't. Funny enough, you'd think with Kitty Hawk I might know some inside stuff, but I think after what we've said recently, I'm never going to
put it on the back shelf.
I think they'll ban John from lending me kits to do it with. Oh, and that's the point. By the way, the instructions were with John Wilkes, who's the guy who lent me the kit for the review, and they were in the box. It's just that he got them out to have a look at, and then gave me the kit without the instructions.
Fair enough.
So that was the thing with that.
Franco's put "Good day, boys."
Good eye.
From Australia.
Like Austria. Australian accent.
Lovely.
Good eye.
Lovely.
And then they all speak
One
like
question: What painting techniques would you use when painting a USAF aggressor three-tone Arctic paint scheme on an F-16?
Commonly called Mukau. There's lizard,
Okay.
flanker, and Mukau.
Okay.
And she's black and white, and she's behind you. There's a kit there behind you with her on. Look, third F-16, third one down. Next pile over. Down, down, down. Bottom one. There. That's what he's on about. It's a complicated colour. I'll tell you that for a start. In fact, can you pull it out?
Wasn't there somebody that done that build with that?
Yeah.
Colour scheme.
I have got the decals for it in 1/32 as well, with all the original colours. My glamorous assistant is just getting the kit from my stash.
As they all fall on the floor.
Yeah, watch this.
Watch you cry.
So yeah, this is the one we're talking about. Which, let me just check the instructions, which amazingly, that I haven't even done a review on.
No, I've not even built an F-16 yet.
You haven't built an F-16?
I've got one actually in the pipeline for the night building. The night fighter we built. I've got one of them.
Can't take you anywhere.
No, you do. You have to bring me back to apologise.
Right. As I say, I didn't think they did. The colour callouts for these are extremely technical, to the point of it's all ratios and mixes and stuff like that. It is not an easy one to do. If you want to be really smart, underneath where you are now, there's a black folder. Can you grab that?
Me smart?
Yeah. Well,
Black
I know you won't destroy the cupboard getting it out.
It's true.
If you pass us that, I've got something quite good in there. That's it. It is like that. Right, now look at that, and it's on the top. Right, okay, so if we really want to be smart, I go these.
Ooh.
Ooh. So,
what are those then?
Afterburner decals, or decals, depending on where you are in the world, did a sheet with them all on. This is the 32nd version. Cartograph did them for them. And then in here, you've actually got the colours for them as federal standard with the approximate matches. So instead of me reading them all out, I'll show you on camera. That's the ones you want, guys. Okay. So if you're talking about doing Arctic flanker or Mukau, because it's black and white, I suppose. I think it looks like a cow. Okay. They're saying that for the underside's white, federal standard colour code FS36628. Okay, that's the closest you're going to get out of the, without making a custom mix. If you're talking about for the grey colour on there, it's federal standard at 36230. Model Master do the colour 1740, which is that one. Then they do the black, which it's not a black, it's a funny colour. But it's FS37030. Model Master do it, and it's 2040. But yes, I have them all here. And do you know why I have them here?
I'm sure you're going to tell us.
Because I've always wanted to build it. Actually, to do that one as well. To do Mukau, or Arctic flanker. Because I love that scheme, and I wanted to do it as a 32nd. So I've got them as a 32nd and the 48th. And that's why I bought that kit as well, because I thought, if I don't do the 32nd, I'll do it. But the trouble is, if you're doing it as a 32nd, you have to buy 2 F-16 kits, which is expensive, because you need the intakes and the nozzles, because they're for the different kits. It's a different block. It's the Navy version for it, which makes it all a bit tricky to do it. But you can now get aftermarket Wolfpack do the set for it and all the rest of it. Sorry, getting backtracked with you guys. But yeah, that's the thing with it. How would you do it? I would do the same paint scheme way we've done it on this one, tack worms and do it like that in 3-tone camo, no problem at all. Pretty straightforward actually. It's not as hard as it actually looks, and it is an absolutely stunning aircraft, and I want to see you when you've done it, because it is a cracking looking aircraft. I think it's probably the best looking F-16 there is.
Fair enough. Rich has put on here that he's currently multitasking. This is what I chopped up to.
All right. Do you dare ask?
Having a beer, Newcastle Brown Ale, playing 3 tables of poker.
All right.
Sanding a small hurricane.
Is he winning?
Watching the live feed and taking this picture. And
he needs more monitors. Rich, get some more monitors. I tell you what, if anything's ever changed my life is the day I put multi-monitors in, because that's basically, most computers have got 2 exits out the back, minimum, or 3. Okay, is just plug in a second monitor. That way you can just drop stuff on the one or the other. And when I've been editing, it's brilliant. I can have the full feed of the exit feed from the editing and the different stations on all the monitors, and it makes life so much easier. And it's great as well, because when you're like doing like the forum and that, I can have YouTube playing in the background or watching telly on Sky Go or something on the other screen, and it's just so much easier. But yeah, multiple monitors, that is the way to go.
David Smith, hi guys, watching from the other side of the pond in Boston, Mass.
Massachusetts.
I'm building the Tamiya M51 Israeli Sherman.
Very nice.
Where the turret joins the lower part of the turret, I had a seam that needed sanding. My question is, how can I replicate the cast texture that was sanded away?
Yes. Shouldn't have sanded it, because it looks, yeah, we've seen them, haven't we, when we were at Bovington, the Shermans, and they got that mark all the way around. We were saying about, you know, taking them out.
They got all the lumps and
they got the lumps and the bumps. A little technique, I know it's too late now, but what you could actually do is scrape clean it, and that way you'll get lumps and chunks in it as well, and it keeps that thing going.
Roughness.
As to get that pitting, because I know what you mean, with the cast effect of it, it's like that sort of pitting effect. To actually put that back is not the easiest thing in the world. A couple of little things you could do is to obviously physically take a pair of like long nose pliers to it and press it and try and make them, you know, quite random, and actually physically dent the plastic. Your other option obviously is to actually get in there with something like a Dremel and just zip at it a little bit, then go over it with a hot action glue like Tamiya Extra Thin to melt it all back down and do something else like that, I think. But again, it's one of those things, multiple choices for that. Denting it, cutting it, shaving it, sanding it with a Dremel or something, just so you can get in there. If you get like one of those little ball ends on the end of your Dremel, you sound they're brilliant now. You can just literally touch it and dent them in, and then go over the top. Yeah, I want mine down there somewhere. One like this. I've got one of these with all me crap in it. But as I say, down there I've got the little ones, and they've got little domed heads, diamond type ones. You can just literally touch it with it and go around there and put texture back into it. So quite a handy little technique.
Dave Barrett, 47. Evening, gents. I too would like to see the F-18 build and the jumper.
What I do is after the show, I'll put the link down the bottom here. So I'll put it in this thread in the forum, all right? Because it's not live on the site as such. It is there, but as I say, you need the back door to get in. So I'll put the key under the map.
And Just Call Me Jan has to answer the question on the decal softeners. Daco has 3 different strengths, which should do the trick. And he's put up a link for them as well.
I'll get some and give it a what.
Paul Selwood. Tamiya do normal mark fit and strong mark fit decal solutions, and a question about resin replacement canopies, as in, can you get them as clear as the kit canopies?
The only, to be honest, the only resin replacement canopy I've got, not replacement but comes with it, is the one that's on the Tucano. I can't remember what it's like, so I'll have a look. Let me get the Tucano out. The thing is, though, it's underneath my F-16.
Oh dear.
So it makes it a pain to get out.
Steady on.
Bad enough when I do a review.
Nice steady hand.
I've got to get all these out and give them a dust. because they're all a bit dusty.
What would be fancy brush?
With me fancy brush. See? That's it.
What would be fancy brush?
Fancy brush. It's got cobwebs on it. That's the thing that's a bit worrying. Thing is, because I've been doing all the airbrushing courses, the dust build-up in this room is quite appalling. So I need to. That's even better. Right, perfect. So, that's it. It's a bit dusty. And don't forget, it's got a decal on it as well. But that's a resin canopy.
You can have a look. Is it?
That's a resin canopy.
Well, if you hadn't told me that, I wouldn't have guessed that.
So it must be quite good. As I say, I would like to see. In fact, I will probably get hold of when I do mine for the Typhoon, the Airfix Typhoon, because obviously Alicat do the resin replacement canopy for that. I know Steve Sutcliffe, he's got it and said it was, you know, it's not brilliant, but it works. So I'll probably be getting one of those.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that one.
But yeah, this is the one. If you want to have a look about it, just go and have a look at the Tucano build, because this is a one-piece cast resin. But the thing is, obviously that's a decal all on the inside. So what I did was I dipped the entire thing to get rid of the carrier film. So that's why, to be honest, I've got bits in it and everything else. So yes, they're pretty good. But we're not talking crystal clear. You know, you're not going to be suddenly thinking, "Oh, that's like brilliant." But it is, I say, respectable. You could get away with it. People aren't going to go, "Oh, it's got a resin canopy. It's horrible." I don't think it's a problem.
George, Phil said, "Have you tried Walther's Silver Set? This is a very strong for stubborn decals."
No, I have to do that one as well. Is that what Hans was on about? Didn't he put that up?
Possibly, yeah.
All right. So perhaps Hans will talk about them as well. No, I will get some in and we'll have a play.
Cool. Mark, which is post 51. Hi, gents. This is my first live show. Hey, Mark.
Well, Mark.
Come on, where have you been?
Yeah, we've been doing this for weeks now. Was this our third? Is our third proper after the week's one?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
We did the week, and then this will be the third live show.
It is.
Yeah.
And I need cheering up. Well, you're in the right place then, especially if you watched him squirt his paint.
Yeah, if you weren't here at the beginning for the bit where I was
rewinding
everywhere, watch the beginning.
Just been told by my doctor that I can only drink clear fluids for the next 48 hours. My appendix is definitely having the last laugh. Oh dear.
So vodka.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though it's no longer there.
Oh,
okay. Eric. Hi, Phil. Phil and Steve. Okay. Begins with S.
Yeah, that's it.
I was very pleased to hear that there will be some F1 model building on Floyd models. I can't wait to see how Phil will get on with it. Right now, I'm in the middle of a super detail build in 1/43 scale. It's the scale racing car Porsche 804. We'll show some pictures of this later this year. The live show is great. Happy modelling.
Wow,
Thank you very much, Eric.
Yeah, as I say, there's loads of people asking about it, and I do like it as well. I'm very much into my motorsport. I love my F1 and all the rest of it, so I'll be there.
Aaron, post 53. Hi, lad. I had to wrestle my laptop off Katie.
Katie made the new show. Did you see it?
I did, yes. Yeah. Bloody Netflix. I started my first armor build today. It's the Tamiya 135th.
What?
It's a German.
Oh God! Don't point at me. Strumganza.
Four. It was tooled in 1975, and it's a lovely kit with no flash.
I tell you what, that is the thing. The Tamiya kits that they brought out in the 70s, which is pretty much all of their bread and butter stock. You know, when you think they were done in the 70s, those kits are almost 40 years old, and they're still as good as anything that comes out now. That's pretty kudos to Tamiya. They talk about get it right in the first place.
The road wheels are a nightmare because of the amount of them, but fingers crossed it goes well. I really want to start tapping into more areas of the hobby, so I'm going to try enter as many of the group builds and SIGs as I can next year.
Well, we certainly got a load on.
Definitely. Post with 54, which is Colin. Evening, guys. Phil, have you ever built any Zucamori
Zucamori kits? No.
I was considering the 32nd Raiden as a long-term build. Keep the laughs rolling.
Yeah, and to be honest, as you know, I did have the Sky Raider here, which went away as a prize. Amazingly, that was like 270 quid's worth of kit and accessories went with that. I have got up there the Trumpeter one. The point to it is that some of the details inside, from my point of view, I think are a little bit overkill. Like putting the pistons inside the cylinders, inside the engine, which is inside the cowling that you're never going to see, did seem a little extreme, you know? So from my point of view, it's not my level of modelling I want to go to, because I like to have my models looking either weathered and ready to go, or in a maintenance, you know, like we've done with the Intruder, or sort of in flight if it's an aircraft. So doing the details you're never going to see, I'm not massively a fan of, if I'm honest. So I suppose if you wanted to do as long-term projects, things like that, then yeah, absolutely knock yourself out. They're the kits to go. The only thing I will say, a lot of people I know who've built them have had trouble with them, because they put them on a par with like Tamiya. They don't go together like Tamiya. They do have issues, shall we say. And I think myself, I know Steve Sutcliffe has spoken about it, myself and Tony spoke about it. He's just finished one as well. And we've come to the conclusion, I think, that the margins are so tight when it goes together, they don't allow for paint. So if you've got a layer of paint on the formers and on the inside of your fuselage, things like that, when it comes together, you get a gap, because it's not allowing for it. So you need to clean them all off to get it to go together. So instead of some kits where you just, all right, I'm going to paint the inside, and I'll paint this side, and you glue it together, it doesn't go. And that is the point to it. I think some of them, they've said, you get these tiny little silly gaps all over it. And we reckon that's what it is. The tolerances are so tight, it doesn't allow for paint.
Yeah.
So just watch yourself with your joints and your gaps. Make sure you clean the paint off before you glue them together, then touch them in afterwards. Just weather them in with some thinned colour on the joint. But yeah, I haven't done one. I can't comment personally, but from people I know, as I say, they do have issues that you just have to be aware of when you're making them.
Darren has put less super glue. Gotcha.
Definitely.
Just tried. Well, it works. Just tried it on the struts live.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. What if if you're doing struts and things like that, as I say, I think I've shown it on this anyway, I'll tack super glue them into place just to get them in there. Then I'll go around with like Tamiya extra thin, and because it's all painted, don't rub it, obviously, just touch it and let the capillary action zip round. That way you get best of both worlds, because what isn't got super glue on it will then weld, and you get a super strong join then.
Another query, I'm going to be doing an F3 Tornado of the 32nd Rebel.
Oh God, not another one doing it.
You talked about cutting, but what tool would you use to cut? I will have to be cutting the full fuselage. My razor saw has something to do. It will not go through. What would you use?
Bandsaw? No, seriously. Right, well, my weapons of choice are razor saw. This is obviously the Tamiya one. To be honest, I bent the blade doing the Star Destroyer, so I need a new blade for it. And it comes with two, and I think this is the last one. Then after that, I've got there's somewhere. I did have, changes wording. I've done with it now. I did have, who makes them? It's a wooden handled one. The thing is, I used it on the Star Destroyer. It can't be that far. Using the hooks of them on the Star Destroyer, cutting it all up. But I've got a wooden handled. That's going to really bug me there. It's not where it should be. And literally, it's a razor saw. Is it DML Make It or someone like that? Can't remember what it's pronounced now, but it's just a couple of initials and it's there, and you do it, and it's a razor saw. But what you can do with it, it says about clamping it in the middle. You can actually poke the saw out the top and just clamp it from the rear. and then use it, and that's what I do. And everything else. Apart from that, if you do want to go big school, then obviously you can get yourself like one of these. Mine's just a mini one, and I'll put the disc cutter type thing in it,
I've used disc cutters, they are good.
And just cut
Easy
through it
to
like
use
that.
as well.
So yes, that's the thing. To be honest, if you're doing big cuts, I tend to use a large razor saw very lightly, and remember, let the saw do all the work. Don't push it or pull it. That one cuts on the drag, isn't it? Yes.
But you think what, man?
Yeah, that cuts on the pull, not the push.
Paul Selwood, Phil's just found a new way of weathering his aircraft by blocked Valero bottles.
Yeah, that's it. Exploding bottle.
Albert, post 58. Hi, Phil and Sid. When I spray a coat of Future on an olive drab coloured model, the olive drab turns very dark.
Yeah.
What went wrong? I think it doesn't happen with other colours. Any suggestions from you guys, except lighten the olive drab up?
It is that thing, because it's a gloss, you're filling in all the holes and it will darken it. It's just, if you overcoat with anything, even with just with water, it will go darker. You know, that's the thing with it. Normally it will come back lighter. Your other option, of course, is to spray it. It depends. If you want a gloss finish, then you're going to have to lighten your paint before you start. If you just want to do it further away and just dust a coat onto it. That will give you more of a flat finish, which won't make it as dark. But certainly you do have to allow, when you overcoat things, it does go darker, especially if you're using glosses. Flats, because it's reflecting the light, you know, and it's refracting it and doing all its bits. It, you know, like this one hasn't changed color when I put the gloss over it, the flat over it, because it's flat still, so it's reflecting it back.
Paul Lane, you spoke about brushes earlier. I came across somebody's name of brushes. I get them from Hobby Colours. And he's put up a link for them as well. They work out £2.70. There is a £7 postage, but I made a big order, so still made them a good price. I think they are just as good as any expensive brush out there. I've put a link on the forum asking if anyone else has used them. As far no reply, but would like to know what others think. If anyone has purchased them, enjoy the show. Enjoy the show.
Brush is a bit of a thing. If you're going to hand paint your models, then obviously a good brush, isn't it?
Decent brush, yeah.
If you're doing like we do, which is tend to be such bits and
Touching
pieces and touchy ends, you don't need a brilliant brush. But certainly, if you're hand painting, then obviously the quality of your brush makes a massive difference.
Certainly does. I would have thought, yeah, definitely. Post 60, which is Colin. That model color bits has gone into the Xmas blooper reel. Going on to page 5. Jurgen, Tamiya Gloss Clear is X22.
Right, got you.
Peter, which is 62, I use Valero model color all the time, and that happens all the time, especially when you only want a little bit of paint. Reference material is easy to get off the internet for modeling. Save a few pictures of what you need and delete them when you've finished. Mind you, if I win the lottery, I'll build up a nice library of books.
Yeah, trouble books are so expensive.
They are indeed.
That's trouble.
Neil, 63. Shame on you both for stealing the kids' Haribos.
Oh yes.
So the other kids got the chocolate next door.
Yeah, that's right.
One thing I really need practice on is canopy masking. No matter how sharp a blade, or where I start to cut it away, seems to fray or leave uneven edges. Any further hints than use a new blade and cut part of the way along first?
Keep your angle of your blade. You know, I use these cheap disposable things, but when you're cutting it, don't keep it high, keep it very shallow. So if you are cutting something like this, you're keeping it so it's probably only, you know, like a 25 degrees between the two. That way you're slicing the tape rather than dragging it. Because the thing is, with everything, if you're in a situation where you are...
I thought you were going to cut your tornado.
Yeah, watch this. But, you know, if you're on your tape and, you know, you're cutting and you're very high up, what's going to happen is you end up with sort of stress marks because it's pushing and cutting its way through as you go. Yet if you keep it very shallow, the angle, and just slicing it along, you get a far cleaner cut, okay, as you're going right the way through. You know, and that would be my only really, you know, advice to doing it. Because also just from the edges of it, that one's a super clean, no problem at all. But then I imagine this guy should be quite, yeah, look, he's quite rough.
Yeah,
I've got fibers hanging off of it and all the rest. So as you say, don't sort of keep upwards and drag it like a jigsaw cutting it. Keep it low, very shallow angle, and just go around. And also just keep the flow of it as well. So you're going along, don't do a bit, stop, go. If you're doing it, nice positive, okay, going along, following it along, and then cutting through with it. Try that.
Keith, happy birthday, Keith.
Happy birthday, Keith.
It's my birthday today, the big 50.
Ooh.
And I went to the IWM London with my partner and had a great day out. I would recommend it to all. I have a question for you, Phil. Have you tried any of the Ultimate Model products yet, as they claim their wash is clay-based?
I can say this actually. I haven't tried it, but certainly a company who I deal with a lot, shall we say, has in detail. And yes, I can just confirm that it isn't clay in this.
Okay.
That's all I can say. I can't say anymore.
Fair enough. No, that's fine.
As for trying their stuff, well, no, obviously, because, you know,
For obvious reasons.
for obvious reasons, really, isn't it?
Paul Selwood, comment 65. Another question, how would you go about spraying Tamiya X22 clear? Lots of fine coats thinned or one heavy one, and I've read in a couple of books that you can add X22 to your matte paint to get a glossy finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever tried this?
Yes, absolutely. If you want a satin finish and you're using Tamiya flats, just add the gloss to it, and that'll give you a satin finish. The same way their flatteners, which is X21, which is that white awful paste that everyone tries to use as a flat coat, which you don't. If you add that to a gloss, it'll make it into a semi or a flat, depending on how much you put in there. But spraying it, it depends. If you want a good, thick gloss coat, then obviously you want to put down a thick coat before it begins to run. So you stop literally to the point you've got a good thick coat. If you put down lots of light coats, what's going to happen is you're just going to end up with sort of a satin or flat finish all the time. So it's a bit like, you know, lacquering your car. It's one thick coat of lacquer goes right onto it. You get something to key it in, so it's got something to grab. Then you come back in and give it a nice thick coat, similar to we did. Just have a look at the gloss videos that we did on Hawk, because that explains it all. I did lots of work on that one for doing it and glossing and all the rest of it.
Larry, evening all, watching from Reading with a bottle of Perignon and a massive chocolate bar.
Oh, very nice.
Shows.
Evening, Larry.
Do save us some chocolate.
Is that Larry as in Clark?
It is Larry Clark.
Larry, I had 3 of your boys over my place at 3 this morning. Yesterday morning, you know, I'm all for having a flyby, but not 3 in the morning. There was 2 of them, definitely low level. I presume they were going up the Team Valley.
Next time, make it a bit lower then.
Yeah, that's it. But they were banging around for ages.
Phil, from Hans, keep forgetting to ask, what camera brand, model number are you using for the current live feed? Was thinking of possibly using a GoPro to feed into your feed as a guest, as we have talked about.
You can use the GoPros for live feed and all the rest of it. And to be honest, it's something I did play with. But the audio, to be honest, is absolutely awful off of my GoPro, because I've got the Go Hero 3 as it is, Black Edition, and the sound, because obviously I can wear a clip mic, but getting both of us, it doesn't work. Right. That one is a Logitech sorry, it might say on this, you see. It's a Logitech C920 we're using, and it's got stereo sound, and apparently it's very clever because when you have multiple people here, it locks onto both of us because it does the stereo left and right.
Ooh.
So that's why I went with that one. But yeah, at the moment I'm using, it's a Logitech C920. I know it says it there. And you can do all these weirdo and wacko things we were doing the other day with.
It was great fun.
Yeah, which is, you know, something like that, you see.
See, and it still logs onto you.
Yeah, it's always me. I don't know why it's me. It's very clever, isn't it?
Shimmy to the right.
That means if I go over into the camera. Hold on. Just wondering.
Hang on, hang on. Oh, no, he's still trying to follow you.
You can't hide from it.
You have now. Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. Oh, no, he's going back out wide now. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's got you.
Switch it off.
No, you can't move now. That's it. It's got you. So, yes. And I say it does loads of other things as well. We were playing around with the other day, but the one I was with you, we were yapping on the other day. That's a different camera I've got upstairs. This one's a different one down here. So we've got two. The old one's the old one upstairs. So if we ever get this one worked out, apparently it does it in even a higher resolution. So
Richard, comment 68. Good evening, Phil and Sid.
Evening.
From the east coast of the US. I am sitting here working on my Rebel Tornado while watching your show live for the first time, and much to my horror, I saw Phil squirt model colour paint all over his Tornado.
Yep. Luckily though, it's all right. It wiped off.
Does this mean the next segment of the video build will be a delay?
No, you're all right. I'm 2 parts in front anyway. So this week you've got the green, doing all the green camo work, and then next week you'll be up to where you are now. So.
Andrew, comment 69. Hi guys. For a minute there, I thought I was watching the Morecambe and Wise show. Anyway, brilliant to finally get to watch a live show at last while I put the finishing touches to Academy 135th Scale Warrior MCB. Keep up the good work. My modelling has come on leaps and bounds since joining. And there's a picture of it. So I think
that's a real good one. That is fantastic.
Some great detail in that.
Very nice. Nice weathering on that. Brilliant. Nicely done.
Jealous now. I'm not going to show you mine.
You've got to bring yours next week. You've forgotten this week. We said it's like show and tell.
Comment 70 from Bill. Hi guys. It's is it typical? I got that far, yeah.
No, you were saying you're gonna have to go quicker. We're 9 o'clock now. We're already on page 7 there. Right.
Hi guys. Is it typical to have to rescribe almost every panel line after putting down a primer, then sanding, and even after your final top coat of paint, just to keep the lines crisp? Lovely show. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, well, I tell you what I tend to do. Obviously, if you've taken out the detail, I'll put it back in. When you get to the wash stage, okay, and obviously we're talking about if you're going to be using a wash it. If you find out it stops because perhaps it's full of dust, the panel liner, you didn't check it, or perhaps you've just lost the detail through sanding, or it's full of paint. If you get yourself a very thin, and to be honest, one of the best ones for it is the Trumpeter sort of almost disposable rescriber. It's a very, very fine blade on that. Sometimes what I'll do is, like for instance, we're doing the Tornado here and we're doing these upper ones on the upper wing. If it's suddenly I found the panel line went along and just stopped, all I do is once it's finished, is give it a line, and then I'll put the wash in it, and the wash will fill, so you won't see that I've scraped the paint out, and do it that way. And I do that quite a lot. And in fact, if you watch the F16 Suffer build, which is still the promo one, I really want to update it for using the wash. I talk about it in there about, if you've lost your detail, you can put it back in afterwards and use the wash to fill it up, because you won't need to repaint it because the wash will take care of it. But generally, I'm a great believer in when you're at the primer stage, that's what you're going to see in the next stage for painting. So if you primer, you can't see it, then you need to pop it in. So you can use it then and say, well, look, I've lost it there in the primer, I'll put it in the primer and then just paint over it. So you don't need to reprime the entire thing and re-rib it and do it like that.
Lovely.
That would be my way.
Hans has put a link in regards to the super glue applicators. He uses a brush. He's picked these brushes up from IPMS US Nationals.
Micro brushes, are they? Little tiny disposable.
Doesn't actually give a name for them.
Right.
He just put a link up for them. They work superb. Check out the video on their site. They did a live demo at the show and sold hundreds. If that's an indication of how revolutionary these things are. Perhaps Phil can do a live stream. Perhaps Phil can live stream the video for a quick review for all on the live show. Scroll to the bottom. By
Sure, we'll work out in for another show because we're running out of time.
By the V2 improved version, though, as it's by the V2 improved version, though, as it has this groove that holds the glue in reserve.
Right.
I'll send you a rack. I'll send you a pack. Phil.
Rack.
So you can see your home with you eventually. It's getting late.
Yeah, it is.
The eyesight.
Right, we can only really run another 20 minutes because we'll go over like last time. We'll get in trouble.
We will. Yeah, just slap my wrist.
Yeah, she will.
Comment 72 from Neil. Talking of carpet monsters, any hints for finding pinged off parts? Do you do a search grid, try to estimate on where it's landed, use really bright lights to find shadows, etc.? This is a common problem for everyone, so maybe.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm the thing of if it's gone down here, normally you always have to be careful it doesn't go in your shoe or something else like that. So I'll literally, because I'm on wheels, I'll push this back, stand up, gingerly do your clothes and see if you see anything fall to the floor, isn't it? And then after that, I'm on your hands and knees and I'll feel. If it's gone a bit further afield, then again, I will get a light. I'll get a strong, powerful light along the carpet and see if I can get a reflection from it. It's my chosen method. Failing that, it's the old Hoover job with some tight over the end mesh, some stocking, not mine obviously. But I'll put that over the end and I'll just zip around everywhere and see what comes up, which is normally my case dog hair.
It will be now.
Yeah, that's it.
Yazin, anybody else having problems watching? Mine seems to be stuck on loading.
Oh, don't know. You mean they've been doing this for this long?
Because there's still loads of comments going on, so I think we're still live.
Yeah, I think so.
Jurgen's put up obviously a little clip of us pointing at each other.
Yeah, very good. Did see that one.
Quite funny. Comment 75. Hi guys, hope the shoulder is better. Phil, sorry I'm an hour late. I'll go and chastise myself and remind myself not to be late again.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
30 laps.
Daz, that's from Daz.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, they're up to page 7. Just keep going.
Hi Phil and Sid, and good evening to you all. I was planning on visiting Telford, the world's greatest model show this year, but in the end I wasn't able to do so. Maybe I'll go next year. Nevertheless, I would like to ask you, what are your plans for Telford? And Sid, can you show us some pics of your Tamiya M113? So yeah, I can put some pictures up. That's not a problem.
Yeah. Telford, yeah, we're there as ever. We have our 18-foot stand as we've had now for the last couple of years. It's the usual thing. Members, if you want to display on the table, we've got a 12-foot table for you guys to display all your wares. Obviously, you know, it doesn't matter if you're there for the 1 day or the 2. You're quite happy to display there. We do have obviously the team guys as well as other people will be around the stand all the time, keeping an eye on your models. And then when you go to leave the show, just pick them up at the end and away you go. So no problem at all. The sales team, they're going to be there this year, handling all of that. I'll be floating between everyone and there to answer all your questions. We'll do a live show there. We'll sit here. We'll take this up there and we'll do a live show.
Could you imagine that?
So yeah, we're there obviously both days. We've got a big one. I don't know where we are yet. They haven't told us. We're normally in hall 2. Was it hall 1? The middle hall, the big one, next to the toilets, which is handy. But we've been there now. This will be our, I think it's our 6th year. It's our 6th year there now.
It's my first year going to Telford last year.
Was it?
It was. Definitely a
A
night
bit
opener.
like, yeah, it is a rabbit in headlights
Oh, it
job.
certainly
It's
was.
massive.
Especially as they had the Huey there as well, so I had plenty of pictures of that.
Yeah, and the Loach. Yeah, they're both there, weren't they? Very good.
Peter Field has put trumpeter Osprey is the 130, the 1350. I thought it was looked bigger than that, but I could be wrong.
1350, that is big. 1350?
Yes, that's the scale of the ship.
Right, yeah, that's right.
So
ship scale.
I thought it was bigger than that, but
Right.
I could be mistaken.
Mhm.
It looked like it was in better detail than what it would be for a 1350, but I could be wrong. Comment 78, this is Lewis. Hi guys, we will see Phil facing a Kitty Hawk kit soon.
I don't mind building them, don't get me wrong, and I still want to do a lightning. As in lightning too, because I want to do one, don't get me wrong. It's not that I wouldn't build one, you know, and I don't think they're unbuildable. It's just that, you know, it's just something every time with their kits. You pick it up, you review it, and you think, oh wow, I've always wanted to do a voodoo, you know, and then I'm thinking, I think I'd rather build the Rebel one because the detail's better in the cockpit. I don't know, it looks better, it's just it's got raised panel lines, and I'm thinking to myself, it's probably quicker to rescribe it than it would be to try and put that together. You know, that's my point. But certainly, don't get me wrong, I know I've not had flack, but people have mentioned that I'm quite hard on Kitty Hawk as a company and all the rest of it. Yeah, I am. But that's only because I just feel so annoyed that they come up with great kits and there's just something there every time. And I know they're a new company, and you know, and all the rest of it. It just rattles my cage. You know, just come on, get it together. It's what we want.
Ronald 79. Sorry to miss the show tonight, lads, but Chelsea has come first.
Oh, I see.
In the Bayfield household. We'll catch up Friday night. As ever, 5 days. As every 5 days, I'm awake all night due to the medication I'm on. So we'll be missing. So we'll be missing when Chelsea's are on TV. Chelsea is in the football team, I'm assuming.
Right.
So I don't follow football, so I do apologise.
No, same here. I try and avoid it.
Yes. Comment 80. Hi Phil, could you begin to build a Messerschmitt BF 109G?
Or now.
6. 30 seconds with Revan Siri or Hasegawa series. The Edo. You might understand the abbreviations better than I do.
Where are we? Top one.
Yeah.
Oh right, Anfield. Could you build a mesh ship BF 136 with the Revlin series or Hasegawa series from Finland? To be honest, it is something that is coming because that is a gap in my collection. I don't have a 109. Well, I do. I've got the FX 48th one, but I haven't got a good one, if you know what I mean. And I've given away I've given away 2 of them actually. I've given away my Edard 32nd one, and what was the other one I had? Was it the trumpeter did one, 32nd? I've given that one away as well, but I'd like to do it in 30 seconds. I think I'll do it justice because of the size and everything else. Because I've said I've got a 48th one in there. We have done one, but I'd like to do a big one, perhaps with an engine, with it opened up and everything else like that. Something I can do a little bit of detail with. So yeah, stay with that one. Definitely, I could do a finish one.
You could.
Finish one? No. I'm here all week, literally.
Paul Selwood, there's a big kit coming out soon, hopefully, and a little different, being a 1/35th scale airspeed Horsa glider by Bonker.
Yeah.
Should make a nice big diorama.
Big being the operative word.
Cool, wouldn't it just? With all their airborne stuff, i.e. jeeps, guns, figures. Nice to see Phil tackle this.
Yeah. One day. I must admit, it's not on my hit list to do that, but it would be very impressive as a diorama, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it?
It'd be quite something with all that. If you could do, you know, with all the aftermarket that will go with that, you could really put something together, like smash it into a tree. Ripped open.
Literally.
Yeah, that's it.
In the garden.
Legs up, everybody.
Chris O'Neill, Phil comments reference Mr. Surfacer. You can get Mr. Surfacer 1500 as well. Not tried it. He's put up a link for that.
And don't forget, you can get Mr. Surfacer as a can, as an aerosol, so you can just spray it on as a primer.
Nathan, Just tuned in. Best thing on TV. The tornado looks fantastic.
Thank you, guys.
And there's a picture.
Oh, look.
For some reason, it's upside down.
Are we? Oh, this is in Australia.
Chris Lovelock, 84. Hi, Phil and Sid. Another top show tonight. Need some advice on spitting paint on my Revel 30-second red arrow using Mr. Hobby self-leveling thinner and Tamiya flat red with extra acrylic red arrows, red shot through my H&S Infinity 2-in-1 with a 0.2 needle.
Right, it could be your mix of your paint. If you're using a flat with the, do you say he's using then somebody else's red in it? Did I hear that correctly? Sounded like he's using 2 lots of paint.
Yeah, he's using Mr. Hobby self-leveling thinners.
Yeah.
Tamiya flat red.
Yeah.
With extra acrylic red arrows red.
Yeah, which is what I did with mine, to be honest, although I didn't have self-leveling thinners through. The chances are it's spitting is that the paints, because they're differently and working differently, to be honest, I'll tell you what it is. It's extra acrylics, it's lumping up. It's what it does. It doesn't like self-leveling thinners. If you put a little bit together, it goes really thick. So what you need to do is over thin it. Your best bet, to be honest, if you make up a mix like that, is knock it into another pot and then mix it with a brush, and you can see exactly what you get. Don't just try and decant it straight away and use it, because that would be a nightmare. But extra acrylics does not like cellulose thinners or lacquer thinners. What happens is it turns to gum and it gets thick. So sometimes you might put it in your colour cup, giving it a whiz around, but right down by the needle or underneath your needle area, it could be thick, and that's what's spitting and causing you trouble. Get it out. Put a load of cellulose thinners through your airbrush, completely flush it through, clean it through, knock it up in a pot separately, over thin it, okay, and then use it, and you'll be all right. But that's what it is. Self-leveling thinners does not like extra acrylic.
But
it will do it, but you have to over thin it.
The other part is, but can't seem to select the right pressure too much as it spits too low and it clogs the tip.
Yeah.
And extra acrylics 10-1 and mixed 50-50 with Tamiya, or mixed 50-50 with Mr. Leveling thinners again. Any thoughts?
It is. It's what I was just saying. It's because the Mr. Surfacer and the extra acrylics just don't like each other and they thicken up. So you might be finding the extra acrylics is clumping up. And then with the Tamiya as well, you've just got a nightmare in a colour cup. Get it out, put it separately, and then knock the hell out of it with a brush to really get it going and all the rest of it. Once it's looking good and you've got it on your brush, you're looking for stringy bits coming off, okay? Once you're okay and it's fine, then put it in your airbrush. But definitely, that's the thing with that. I've been there loads of times. People say you can't airbrush it, but you can. You just have to over thin. And don't forget, sorry, with the thinners, it dries extremely quick, okay, when you're mixing it like that. So you can put down multiple coats. So don't think it's big, thick coats. Worry about your gloss coat afterwards. Just get your colour right first.
John Kenwood, 86. Evening, Phil and Sid. Can confirm Humbro enamel thinners eat speckles. Just done a test on my hawk.
Right. Don't use theirs, because obviously it's not enamel thinners. It's obviously some type of synthetic thinners.
Mark.
That's the one you want. You want this one here. Blue top. It is the blue one.
Mark, which is 87. Hi guys, good evening. Phil, have you ever thought of making cone-shaped sanders?
Yes, we have. To be honest, we've looked into it. The logistics of trying to keep them in one bit, though, are a nightmare, because we did it in testing when we first set this all up, me and the company. They fell apart. They just can't hold their shape. They just don't last, and it's not worth bringing it to the marketplace. Your best bet, if you want to do something like that, is buy the sanding sheets, and you can super glue them onto something yourself and make them yourself. To be honest, because you can buy the sanding sheet set for $3.99 and make up 100 of them, versus us bringing you to the marketplace a cord, because they need to have a core, otherwise it just fall apart, which is like a piece of plastic through the middle into a cone, then doing it. You can do it yourself so much cheaper.
So John Buller has put a comment on.
Is he?
Whoop, whoop. Guys, I'm on leave in a couple of weeks.
Oh.
So I'll come down and keep you two company
if
you want.
Yes.
But I'm not sitting on the stool.
Yeah, you are, John. You're here. I have a stool here, which is what my boxes all sit on and that. And you guys who come here know that. What happens is when we have the geek meet, we run out of chairs. Somebody has to sit on it.
Neil's put up caption contest. Anyone?
Yeah, that's it. You might have to all over it tomorrow.
Paul Selwood. This has been a modelling site. This being a modelling site, the calendar I would buy is a calendar with photos of Phil's models, and would have a vote on the site to pick what models are included. Also cheaper, no super models to hire.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I think I'd rather have everybody else's on there.
Right, Hazzy, which is, do apologise, I've pronounced it wrong. 91. Hi again, great live show. A question to Phil. Have you used any clear coat on the hind to seal everything down?
No, the hind is raw. Absolutely nothing on that whatsoever, which made two reasons. One is I unmasked it because I got a bit carried away. And I thought, oh no, can't do it now, because I'd already unmasked it completely. And I thought, I haven't flat coated it. But it hasn't bugged me at all. And the thing is I do like about it is the differences. So actually what you've got is quite a satin finish down by the middle of the boom, if you like. Dead flat in the middle from those exhausts, and then the front's a little bit shiny as well. But there's patches of gloss in there as well, where obviously I've rubbed it and worn through, and it gives you that real multiple texture to it. So that's why I elected to leave it. I was going to remask over it loosely and then do it.
Good.
But yeah, no, I left it as is. I need to get it in the case before it gets dusty.
Franco, thanks for the advice regarding the F16. The kit is built, just needs paint job. Steve Sutcliffe. Hello, Steve.
Steve.
To simulate cast texture on a turret, the best way is to dab in Mr. Surfacer 500 with an ode brush on a sponge.
Well, there you go. Steve should know. He's our armour whiz.
He is indeed. Right, Wayne has put up something. That's just answering another thingy. Russell's put up a quote for our picture.
Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Phil,
actually.
you said the model colour would be fine. Sid, I think the Tornado looks good with a splash marks. Or airsoft, airsoft's new invisible gun demonstrated.
Yeah, that's it.
Glory.
Yeah. Glock 17, 1911.
Adam, hi guys, loving the show again. What do you recommend to thin model master enamels? I know they have their own thinners, but it's quite hard to get hold of, and it's quite expensive.
You say enamels?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I've done it with it. I've used the now legendary Mr. Colour self-leveling thinners. Well, you don't have to have a self-leveling one. The normal one does it as well. But what was it I did with them? Something I did with them. Something like that. But yeah, I use that. To be honest, that's the only cellulose thinners I've got here, because you can't buy. My usual one of choice is Tamiya's, the one with a buff coloured top,
Which you can find.
which you can find. You can't get it in the UK at the moment, apparently. That's why.
And to be honest, I went to look for your self-leveling one as well on the said site.
Yeah.
And it's that soft.
Oh.
So you've obviously mentioned it too many times.
Mentioned it too many times. So you can't get it from the usual places.
Eric's put on there. Sorry, Sid, for calling you Steve. Don't know how it happened. So I've been called worse.
That's all right, Frank. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah.
Paul Selwood, that German armour you had trouble pronouncing is better known as a Stug. S-T-U-G.
Stug. Stug.
Dave Smith, thanks, Steve. Thanks, Steve. Phil, that razor saw you were looking for is a CMK razor.
Yeah, it is. As soon as you said CM, I was like, yeah, CMK. Yeah. Great bit of kit.
Larry Clark. Apologies, Phil. I'd love to say that it won't happen again a couple of times this week. But that'd be a big fat lie.
Oh, right. It's funny, you can hear him coming. You can hear him coming down the valley.
Jason Smith, just wanted to say hello from Indonesia, USA. Working a late shift tonight and enjoying the live show.
Lovely.
And Aaron, Phil, when you're doing your typhoon, have a look at RB Products Photo Etch Grill for the intake.
Yeah, I have seen that.
It's
Definitely,
beautiful.
I think it
I
is,
had
yeah.
a look, and it's at my club's meeting last month. They do excellent stuff.
Yeah, I must admit, RB Productions, I've used them a couple of times in the past, but that grill set I think is a must because of just the way it is and all the rest of it. It's a lovely bit of kit.
That we're well of, I think we're up to date.
Are we up to date? Well, that's handy because it's half past. I said we were
It
going an
is,
extra half hour.
Definitely.
So yes, well, there we go. Stop there. Don't look at it anymore.
No, if there is any other questions, I'll try and write them down. And
Yeah, we'll bring them over for next week and all the rest of it.
Definitely.
Perhaps we'll try and get a special guest in next week.
Definitely,
We'll
yes.
try and
We'll try and
local
find
in.
somebody. I'm sure we can get
Yes,
somebody
we'll
in.
get somebody else in and all the rest of it.
Use our lasso.
Yeah, as I say,
Bring them in.
also, if you have got a webcam that's pretty good, obviously we do need to have some type of quality. Then obviously we can bring you in via the live feed as well. And do it like that. I could do the editing bit.
You could.
And all the rest of it, so that'll be handy.
Steve, Hans.
So yeah, Steve, Hans, and all the rest of the team
all
guys.
the team, yeah.
If we can get them in, it'd be quite an interactive one like that, and everything else. And obviously with your good selves as well. So if you've got any questions,
Definitely.
we can bring you in live, or you can show us your model, then we can have a look at it, and everyone can see it as well. So
Definitely.
now we're getting the hang of this.
Indeed.
We're professionals now.
Well, I don't know about professional.
Well, it wasn't earlier, wasn't
we
it?
seem to be getting people's good feedback, so
Yes,
that's good enough.
And as I say, keep the feedback coming because it's handy for us because we haven't got a clue what we're doing really.
No, we don't.
So we just sort of sit here.
I'm just talking to you.
I say, I'm just talking to you. I'm just praying it works.
Which obviously at one point it didn't.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'll have to watch it back again. Or have to listen to you again tomorrow while I'm sat here working. See where it went wrong.
Put it on mute.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't let it read.
Good point. Stickers. I know some of you asked about stickers because obviously I said I'm not sending badges to doing stickers.
Yeah.
They haven't arrived yet. I have spoken.
You're still not wearing it.
I know. Well, I haven't got the new ones yet.
No, you badge.
Oh, my badge. No, they're all over there.
You took it off yet.
I should put my t-shirt on, but I really would sweat in here then both on. Yes, I will obviously as soon as they are for you guys who watch the live shows, then I will get them out to you and all the rest of it. As our little bit of fun and all the rest of it. But as I said, if you want to see this go in a particular direction or whatever, then leave a comment.
Let us know, yeah, definitely.
And we'll try and do something about it. If not, we'll just continue what we're doing, which
Indeed.
is always a giggle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And everything else like that.
I say I'll get some pictures up of me M113s. I said there's nothing special about them. They're only up to certain painting areas and stuff like that, gloss. There's no decals on them.
No.
But yeah, by all means, I can put some pictures up.
No, I think you should, absolutely.
No problem.
From my point of view, we've got the Tornado will be, next part of that will be up on Friday. The first part of the Heinkel will be up on Friday as well, and everything else like that. So hopefully we'll keep you pretty interested. I might be here on Friday with a new show. If I'm not, it's because we're having the new lighting installed and everything else like that. So there you go. If I'm there, they haven't gone up yet, and it will be the week after.
There's going to be a nice pole in the back as well for Patrick Stanton on there.
That's right, absolutely.
For when John gets here.
Yeah, for when John gets here. We're getting Little's outfit.
Indeed. I think it'd look nice in a little outfit.
I think you would.
I think you would.
Absolutely. Right, okay then guys, thank you very much for joining us again tonight. So
Indeed.
good night from me.
And good night from me.